Okay, all right. Hi, Assalamualaikum, and good evening, everyone. My name is Hajar, and I will become your host for tonight. So, welcome on board to Deal or Grill for tonight. So, may I know who is the first time here? So, if you guys are the first time, please put one in the chat. We'd like to know. Okay, I see some of the thumbs up. All right. Okay, so I want to check first, is it my voice loud and clear? So if you guys if it is yes, please put thumbs up so that I know my voice is doing good. All right. Okay. All right. Great. Amazing. Okay, for tonight, we have a few things to discuss about with a few panelists for tonight. Okay, for today, we are going to discuss 5 properties. Okay, so which are, the first one is Starz from Old Krang Road. And then second is Amaya Residence, Bandar Sri Damansara. Third is Arte Solaris, Monkiara. And fourth will be the RIA, River City. And last but not least is AdisonWest Luckington, which is located in JB. So for tonight, you will get basically a non-nonsense review, so which we will rank and read through each property. And then we discuss about own stay versus investment background breakdown. And then what are the red flags spotted? And also we are going to have live Q&A session at the end of session for tonight. Okay, so for those who are watching us through our social media, whether you guys are in YouTube, Facebook, IG, or TikTok, so please join us throughout the Zoom session where you guys can ask a question in the Q&A box below. So with that, I'm going to read a couple of housekeeping rules. So the first one is there will be no recording for tonight. So if you guys want to watch again for Deal or Grease session, you guys can watch DOG or Battle Royale on our YouTube channel. Okay. And second, if you want to ask question, so please put your question in the Q&A box below. So, okay, with that, are you guys ready? If you guys are ready, so please put some emoticons so that I can call upon our panelists for tonight. So, boss, Faizul Ridzuan, are you ready? So, let's go on. Di manakah anda? Bos ada ke tu? Alright. Okay. Calling 1, 2, 3. Okay. Bos ada cakap something ke? Sebab tak dengar suara lagi.
Oh, belum cakap lagi.
Okay.
Sorry.
Alright. So the stage is yours.
Oh, dah mula dah? Sorry, just lambat sikit. Baru sampai rumah tadi. Dan apa tu? Assalamualaikum. Very good evening, everyone. So this is basically our latest deal or grill. And I think before we start, I probably have to have a pre-qualifier to make lah, basically, right? Because in the last 2 weeks too, I think there are agents who came to me hostile, dengan cara yang agak hostile, macam nak bergaduh, because we kecam cara dia market property dia. We also had developer coming to us asking us to revise rating dengan the stars of the rating, the one that we gave during the deal grill, right? So my viewpoint is this, yeah. I mean, the whole idea of deal or grill is really to see whether what is being said properly and correctly. And when it doesn't, we're gonna call it out lah, right? And you know, just like everything else, and I think in the spirit of people trying to sell property, naturally people are gonna be more excited trying to sell certain properties and whatnot, to the point they might misrepresent the facts. Yeah. So the goal of Deal or Grill is to really give you things objectively, and again, this is basically in many ways, right? Is a personal POV of myself, you know, William, Sean, Albee, right? Zakri, right? And nothing more. And before we give a rating, we tend to say why, right? So why we would buy, why wouldn't we buy, right? So that's that lah. So I think number one, I can honestly say we are not for sale, right? I now have betul, people willing to pay us 6 angka to ubah dia punya rating, which I tell them I'm flattered for the offer, but no, right? This is not why we do deal agree lah senang cerita, right? And we see a lot of positive that came out of this, whereby we had an honest conversation in terms of how people sell things, and people you know misled certain things, and no matter what, the developer, which is the owner of the product, has to be accountable and responsible, because the agents who are marketing, right, they might misrepresent your product, but if you are being highlighted they are misrepresenting and you decided to not do anything, then you just you bersubahat lah, you are complicit, right? So you are agreeable to this particular practice, and if you're not, then you do certain change, and if you do great, right, then do it for the better lah. So I'm honestly grateful that we got called and we got sounded, right? And are we gonna change the way we do it? We're not, right? We're just gonna be brutally honest as per usual, right? And again, no matter what we say, at the end of the day, the number of people watching this show is only a couple of thousand, right? So a couple of thousand, and there are people who literally rely on platform like ours, Sean's YouTube channel, to really make an informed buying decision, because they're not in Malaysia, right? So I think, like I said, let us be very clear. This is not a platform that you can buy, right, your way into getting a better rating. I mean, like if you do a decent enough product and your agent is not scamming anyone, we are just going to say, hey, great, wonderful, bagus. Ini yang kita nak, right? And when you do, we're going to call you out, right? As simple as that. So I hope you guys understand. This is not us attacking any projects just because, we don't have that as part of the portfolio or inventory. It doesn't mean we're going to rate it lower. I mean, we explained to you why lah. Why is it 2-star? Why is it 3-star? Why is it 1-star? Why is it 5-star? Everything also we have to explain. Now, at the end of the day, right, if you don't explain properly in a way whereby the public can accept, then people can see how biased, they're just trying to push far capital projects. Is that fair, guys? Right? So I really want to thank everyone watching. People give you feedback in terms of how do we make the agree better. But like I said, the whole idea of why we do the platform is simply because we don't think there's an honest review. The agents are not telling you the full story, right? And most of the time, people pay using their hard-earned money, right? And I'm not being paid by anyone to go and promote. And if anything, in certain cases, a lot of developer gets free promotion, from this show, right? We're not getting paid. Sean is not getting paid, and they can sell hundreds of property when they do the right product for free, right? So I think the whole goal is, getting the developers and agent to be a bit more responsible, right? Because today they are malpractices, right? Misrepresentation of product. Yeah. So I just want to get that one out. Are we going to change our way? Does this? No, right? And in fact, I told the developer that in the event we misrepresent your product, I'll be quite happy, right, to issue an apology, right? And it's going to be great for you simply because, we got it wrong, right? We got it wrong, and that's great PR for you, Faizul got it wrong, Sean got it wrong, right? So William got it wrong, right? Great PR for you, right? So do reach out, right? If you think that we have misrepresented your product or your property. But for example, like we find that agents are beginning to be a little bit more scared in terms of being responsible marketing. Early this week, they cakap ada JRR for one of the project we discussed tonight. Yesterday dah tak ada JRR because maybe dia dah kenal Albee. Oh, jelaka kan, takut kena grill kan malam ni kan. so suddenly, right, the whole week ada JR dah suddenly yesterday and today dah tak ada JR dah. So, which to us, right, if this is gonna help agents to be a little bit better, a lot more ethical, doing what is morally correct to go and promote, I think that's great, right? So that's that for the introduction for tonight. I apologize. I just hope it become very clear why we do what we do, right? I wouldn't go as hard as a some laws to no, there's no such thing. We didn't do this for this, right? We didn't do this to attract attention. Because if you wanted to, we could have always been more harsh, right? We could have always been more harsh, right? And the reality is that there are a lot of things about we don't like, and then we tend to play down, giving people benefit of the doubt and all that, right? So, but when people misrepresent, we have to call them out, right? So, thank you guys for listening. In terms of the introduction, it's a bit more different tonight, right? So again, the whole idea of Deal Grill is to give you objective, right, review of certain property facts, right, so that it can guide you what to buy for own stay, can guide you what to buy for investment, right? So as usual, when our rating is not favorable, for their project, a lot of people are not very happy, agents and the developer alike, right? But for us, it's very straightforward. The whole idea is to guide people to how to launch the right property. Because I think if you're a developer watching this show for 10 times, I think you would know already, how easy it is to actually launch the right property. Right? It's not difficult. Yeah. So this is why we do it. Like I said, independent POV. Right. Next slide, please. Right. So these are all Battle Royale episodes, the one that we have done last year. So please go and watch it. Right, we've covered Maluri, Segambut, TRX, PJ Kelanjaya, Desa Park City, Johor Bahru, KLCC, Jalan Panjalatik, Monkera, Bukit Jalil, Cyberjaya, Putrajaya is our latest one this year. Right, so if you are looking to buy any properties in this area, my suggestion is that go watch the Battle Royale. It's a bit long, it's 2 to 3 hours, but you will know everything that you need to know about the area from 20, 30 years ago punya history up until now, right? In just that 2 to 3 hours, right? So it will be worth your while, especially if you're going to make a $500,000, 1 million ringgit investment, right? So go and watch Battle Royale if you're looking to buy property in these areas. Now, next slide will be all the properties that we have basically reviewed, right? So these are all properties that we have recently reviewed, right? So this is now our deal or grill number 6, right? So we've reviewed quite a fair bit of property, like guys. Long story short, right? 35, and after tonight we're gonna be reviewing 30 properties already, and this is all this year alone, right? So again, like I said, if you watch our review, you understand why we give certain property higher rating, why certain property lower rating. We have to completely justify everything. Right, so this is not something that we give, based on feeling, right? It's really data, right? Experience, what's the area is going through as of today, and from there, then only we can give, what we think is going to be a fair assessment of the property. Okay. Now for tonight, we're gonna review another 5 properties, right? So we got Genstars, right? We got Amaya Residence, Genstars in Auckland Road. We got Amaya Residence in Bandar Seri Damansara. We got Arte Solaris Monkera. Then we've got Larkinton at Larkin, and then we've got the Ria at River City. This is basically, being branded as Care Central, but it's actually Brickfields lah. So these are 5 properties that will be reviewed tonight, right? So again, we're gonna cover what is the misrepresentation, what is the mis-selling, what is the actual fact, and what we think, right? The property from a prospect of own stay, from a prospect of investment as well. Okay. So with that, Albee is on leave tonight, right? Albee is on leave tonight because she's not feeling well. So with that, I'm gonna hand over the Zoom, right, to our one and only head of research at Park Capital, Abang Zach. Let's go, Abang Zach.
Right. Thank you, Faizul. Hopefully malam ni tak sendu sangat because no Albee, because Albee got a lot of fans especially on Sunday lah. So macam sedih
Uh,
sikit ada fans sangat
Albee ni is like a woman gamer bro. So it's like woman gamer. So suddenly all the guys pergi watch walaupun apa tu? Mungkin skill dia biasa-biasa je tapi sebab rare kan. And majority pembeli kan ataupun gamer jantan semua kan. So penyeri lah.
All right. So, I think today we're gonna, as Faizul mentioned just now, we're gonna review 5 properties. So first one, they're gonna be Amaya Bandar Sri Damansara lah. All right. So this is the property. So first, how do agent outside market this Amaya residence? So just the context. This one located at the intersection of MRR2 and also LDP on the Damansara side lah. All right. Before near the Park City. Right. So first, how do agent outside market this Amaya residence from their marketing POV? So first is the master plan concept with a seamless connectivity. So as mentioned, they are located near LDP. There will be a mall on the master plan, hotel, and already a commercial area at the back, the Ativo, and also the DA Square at the back, right? And also the link bridge to MRT Sri Damansara Central, and the link bridge is already there lah. All right. And the next point is the link bridge to MRT. Yes, as I mentioned, the link bridge is already there to MRT Sri Damansara Central, right? And it's well connected. As mentioned, this is the intersection between MRR2 and LDP side lah, on the Damansara side. And most important thing, this is quite near to Desa Park City, but it's not located in the Desa Park City, not really next to them lah, but it's really near, right? It's about 10 minutes away sahaja daripada Desa Park City, right? And last but not least is a flexible layout that's suitable for investment and own stay. So to summarize, right, this is a super mega master plan that people is talking about. Is this gonna be a next center of gravity or not? So now in this vicinity, they got Desa Park City, obviously one of the center of gravity, Bandar Utama Mutiara Damansara area, and this side is Ativo Annex side, DA side lah, right? But the question here is this gonna be as successful as the other commercial area with the residential, right? So so we will discuss later. So this is based on the agent's marketing POV lah. Okay. So let's see on what we think on the real USP for this project. Yes, it's a master plan concept with the TOD and the link bridge to Sri Damansara Central MRT already. Also a premium furnishing kind of development. The facilities also quite good. At least they have 3 floors of facilities, and the unit is quite luxury as well, right? But think the concern here is the price at 900 ringgit PSF. How this gonna work even got MRT link bridge, and plus there will be quite a lot of upcoming supply, especially towards the LDP side lah, right? And this 900 ringgit PSF at this area, and this is tier 2 area, right? So I think we're gonna discuss a little bit further later, right, during discussion time. So this is the info for Amaya. As usual, you can screenshot first. Roughly, they are in the master plan under Ativo Annex. Total of 1,200 plus units under 2 towers, under 2 residential towers. And it's a freehold layout from 1 bed, 1 bed, 1 bath to 3 bed, 3 bath lah. All right, sizing from 554 to 1,230 square feet, and having up to 668 number of story, with the pricing roughly about from 900 ringgit PSF. All right. And this is the facilities quite a lot, and there will be a kind of luxury developments as mentioned just now, with quite a lot of facilities, with the rooftop facilities as well, with the sky dining, right? But the swimming pool will be located at the level 13 lah. All right. So let's see on the on-stay perspective for this project. In terms of accessibilities, it's quite convenient lah. It's MRR2 LDP just in front. Duke Highway is also accessible from this side, and KVE quite convenient lah. Location is good, right? Amenities wise, not much, but there's quite a lot. Sorry, but there's a primary school, secondary schools, international schools so nearby, especially those in the Park City, shopping malls and groceries. Also quite a number of commercial area at the back of this area lah. All right, especially this DA and Artivo area, and also the Desa Park Stay punya area lah, right? And also the towards Bandar Utama and Mutiara Damansara side, right? Public transport about 400 meter with the link bridge to MRT Sri Damansara Central, and the bridge is already there, MRT 2 line, right? And the mortgage here is based on the random lowest PSF unit lah, right? So for the smallest to the biggest type, about 2003 plus plus up to 4000 plus plus. Depends on the unit, floor and facing. All right. So an investment perspective, median subsale here as of today, this vicinity under DA master plan, right, is about 1000 square feet, 1000 ringgit PSF. Artivo Suites and Plaza, Artivo Plaza, also about reaching 1000 ringgit PSF lah, right? For older development, considering the same vicinity, about 680 ringgit PSF, and this is tier 2, and this area considered semi-mature lah, where to see the entire master plan to fully develop, and the MRO looking at who in the rental, and the rental comparison you can see here. The next door, Artivo, studio up to 2002, one bedder, up to 2005, two bedder up to 2009, and three bedder up to 4000. This one is just next door, right? About here. And Azalea, also on the other side, right? Amaya located in between lah. Azalea also on the other side, one bedder up to 24, four bedder up to 4003 lah. All right. So this is where Amaya located, dekat tengah-tengah lah. Artivo here, and the Azalea is right here lah. All right. So let me bring along the panelists back to the floor. What do you guys think this Amaya resident is a deal or grill for the Ostate and investment POV lah? What do you guys think? William?
Actually, I'm browsing the GA Global punya website lah. Again, Gen Z like me and you would prefer something that's walkable to everything, city within city concept. To mall. This one also got MRT also, right? Yeah, and overall macam okay, although the price is a bit pricey, but yeah, macam boleh lah. Honestly, I think boleh. For me personally. Yeah, investment, yeah, rooftop pool sama betul. I saw that also. Yeah, but investment, of course lah, this one I think should be priced slightly cheaper. But again, I like the concept overall, and quite premium also lah, the look. So I think honestly for me, I think yes, right, deal. But investment, not so deal. So half. Zakri, what you think?
I love the convenience.
Kan?
I love the convenience. To the mall, and there will be upcoming hotel. I mean, if I want to stay here, I don't really bother. But I think this area macam no code for own stay. I think this area macam, one, my concern is banyak sangat development. If you're talking about those facing those in the LDP side, the Exim, those towards the LDP lah, towards the Putera Damansara there, there's gonna be a lot of upcoming supplies. TOD macam okay, but I think somehow for own stay, I think macam I don't like much to stay nearby MRT lah. Macam kacau lah for me lah, right? I would rather go for, and also at this price for on stay, I would rather go for Mont Kiara or Dutamas area. At this kind of price point, I can get somehow cheaper at Dutamas. Because especially if you're looking for convenient, think those area macam much better lah. But those who liking this area macam okay lah, kan? Liking this Damansara, near the Bandar Utama and apa semua macam okay lah. Tapi for me, grill for on stay lah, no. Investment also grill, no. Think they already sell quite mahal lah. Even to compare to old property, this price versus rental also macam susah sikit kot. But potentially can break even lah. Also the supply punya concern lah. But the main one is the price lah, price. So grill for investment. What do you think, Sean?
I think this development had a very good calculation in events lah. Okay, when they got the land, then that time MRT jadi, so suddenly got one station there. Then you have Duke Highway that fly through Manjarara that connects right in front.
Yeah.
Then you have the Damansara Perdana, the whole master plan got approved. Then you have Desa Park City being on bull run, like nobody's business. So you combo all of those things together, suddenly this worked as a master plan. And Banasri Damansara, I was around there when I was 14. I stayed there for a few years.
Wow.
So it was already a very charming location for Chinese actually, because Kepong is next door. So the educated, the more English-speaking Chinese, right, all stay there one. So the Kepong is all the Cantonese-speaking one. So because of that, then the landed prices there has already been very high until when they see Desa Park City happen, all of them laugh because the popular side would be this side, not Desa Park City side. But when Desa Park City happened, then now suddenly whatever that we think that is expensive now, right? From a research point of view, it's too high for us. But for locals, inexperienced people, right? You are a stone throw away master plan macam Desa Park City at a discounted rate with MRT some more and a mall. So a lot of locals did really well. Yeah, for the Artivo suites. So Artivo was the previous phase where the developer weren't very confident. So they kind of hand over, and I was there when they hand over. But now, if you look into the integration of the Artivo Plaza, Artivo Square connection to Artivo, suddenly it's a very happening thing. The commercial lot was going to die at one point, but then suddenly, like feng shui, suddenly all click lah, click, 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 click. Now they just launched also in conjunction to this an office block, I think. Called something with H one. Yeah, I think they launched an office building next to this as well. Because suddenly everybody realized, right? So many residents. In order to be different, you need job opportunities. Yeah, so they also have the performing arts center and things like that. So from if you are buying sparingly like one or two every 20 years, right? I think it's a good buy lah. Because you don't have to think about the reputation of the property. You don't have to really worry the tak siap project, because in order to prove that, MRT belum siap that time, the link bridge already built.
Yeah.
And it's across two main highways. It's like a mission impossible kind of thing. Yeah, so that one credits to them lah. Credits to them. But to me, as a own stay, it's going to be the parents who buy for the kids, not the kids buy themselves. So own stay people will buy. But for investment, I don't like it. Just because everything is benchmarked against Desa Park City. But everyone to a certain extent gotta know and understand they are not Desa Park City lah. So yeah, but for those who like, wow, you see Desa Park City now 1,600 per square feet, they hear 1,000 cheap buy. Wow. But maybe we are wrong too. Maybe I will be wrong too. Like next time in the future, 1,200 this location. Tak tahu mah. Right? But from a cash flow point of view, rental point of view, no lah. We got better things in other locations. So.
I think I really echo what Sean is saying. The only thing lah, in my opinion, that has got this place going for it is really the Sapak City, which is what is being used by the agent to really harp on and to sell this property at a 900 ringgit or above 900 ringgit per square foot. Because Bandar Seri Damansara will always be a tier 2 area. Rentability wise is never gonna be a tier 1. It's never gonna match what Desa Park City can get or what Mont Kiara can get, right? So I guess, the POV of an investor, what the heck lah, why lah? Why you buy here? You know what I mean? Because we're not a fan of Sri Damansara, we're not a fan of the area, we got no affinity. And for us, it's just, why lah, why pay this kind of money here, right? But the people who like the area, right, will buy, like what Sean's saying, second generation, right, parents. Because today, Sri Damansara, Bandar Sri Damansara is a very mature neighborhood. So a lot of their parents who bought landed property nearby, all entering retirement age, right? So, and they made money from Sri Damansara. It's just very normal if you have made money from a landed property nearby, you're just going to tend to buy a high rise nearby. Because you are under the view that I bought last time, people also say expensive. I still made money. So I'm just going to buy, right? They don't understand what median is. They don't understand comparison is, and they will just buy because, well, I've made money in Sri Damansara. I got no reason to not buy, lah, right? And they'll probably buy it for the kids, similar to how Damansara Utama, Damansara Jaya, high rise versus, landed property, which at the point of time, landed property 500,000, 600,000. Then 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom unit going for 250,000. People say, so high, you pay so expensive, right? So in the end, the landed went up to about 1 million. So the service apartment went up to about 500,000, right? So I think there will be a similar scenario. But I guess from a rating point of view, if you look at the rating that I've given it, right? So I think own stay will be quite nice for people who quite like the area, who want something a little bit more premium, don't really pay the premium that Desa Pakiti is charging. Yet, you're not that far away, lah. You're just 10 minutes away, right? So for own stay, I think it's quite high. We give it 3.5. Investment wise, a bit hard to justify, simply because you go Damansara Damai, things are like half price, right? Just one two station away, right? 1-2 station away, right? There are also other cheaper alternative, which is also banking on the Park City, like Damansara Perdana side, Country High Damansara, right? So these are all, Segambut side, all going for 600, 700 ringgit per square foot. A bit harder to justify, lah, right? The other thing here is that I think from a density point of view, it's quite high at 1,200 units, right?
Yeah, betul.
1,200 units. At this price point, I would consider this as high density, right? So if it's like 300-400 units, fine, right? But at this price point, I expect it to be a lot more exclusive, lah, if you know what I mean, right? So I wouldn't pay 900 ringgit per square foot to go and buy, unless you're talking about KLCC or Bukit Bintang, right? To go buy something above 1,000 units. So I find it to be quite peculiar. I think it's a bit strange, but well, like I said, people who are going to be fans of this area will continue to buy, irrespective of what our opinion is as of tonight, right? So for investment, it's 2 star. The other thing here is that on top of the existing supply, which is cheaper, right? Just again, 5-10 minutes away, right? So were to be within the vicinity of the Park City, I'm also advising a developer in this area looking to launch something at below 800 ringgit per square foot. And what's more important here is that from a net price point of view, it will be below 300,000. So less than 500 unit, much more lower density, net price point of view below 300,000, zero supply in this area at this price point, like completely zero supply, and even cheaper from a price per square foot with comparable facilities. So most likely that's going to happen the next 12 months. So I would rate that a lot higher from an investment point of view, minimum 4 star, because that one confirm positive cash flow, confirm okay lah, that one, rooftop pool and whatnot, right? Going for less than 300,000, very easy to get break even, right? So like I said, I think for own stay, this is a better product for investment. I think that new launch upcoming will be a much better product. So most likely that product, before you will review, I will give it a 2-star rating for own stay and 4 star to 5 star for investment, depending on the final net price. So if final net price below 250, kita bagi 5 bintang. So ni kita bagi pressure sikit kat developer, jangan tambah-tambah. You nak 5 bintang, mau bagi 250 orang ke bawah. Right? So yeah. right? That's our honest verdict lah for Amaya. Right. By the way, got a few Amaya in KL.
Yeah.
So don't get confused. Maluri pun ada Amaya juga. So that's the original lah, Amaya.
But that's something to for audiences to bring back, right? It's about the rental expectation. Just because Desa Park City can get 7,000-8,000 for a 3-bedroom unit doesn't necessarily mean you will get the same just because you're one street away. It doesn't happen that way lah. So just now, Faizul also mentioned that this is a tier 2, not like Desa Park City, which is a tier 1. The main difference that if you speak to any foreigners in Malaysia, everybody wants to be in Desa Park City.
They will
So
at least know there's a Park City.
yeah.
Just like they know Mont Kera or they know Bangsa. That's part of the conversation, right? I move here. These are going to be places agent going to show. Agent not going to show Sri Damansara. Unless, for example, budget suddenly say, I want below 4,000. Means Mont Kera susah sikit. Bangsa tak boleh dapat. Desa Park City tak boleh dapat. You go nearby lah.
So
Right?
that's why when a lot of investors, when they buy, when they look into the why all gentlemen here all think that it's not a very good investment, because we all deep down we know nobody's going to pay above that price to live in this location.
Yeah.
And because you go like 2 stations away, right? We can get a bungalow already for that price. So so I think for audiences who are still wondering like why Desa Park City I can get 8,000 ma, here 3-bedroom I get 6,000, okay ma, 2,000 discount. No. It doesn't work that way lah. Yeah, it just doesn't work that way. Because you everybody should also think from a tenant point of view. They are rather
I also have,
yeah.
I think that's a very key point lah, right? Guys, there's only one Desa Park City. There's only one Mont Kera. If it's so easy for any developer to go and replicate, they would have replicated Mont Kera, Dua, somewhere, whatever, right? And Desa Park City, right? There's only one, right? Of that. And, it's timing, it's land size, it's a little bit of luck too, right? So all of this combined, a growing middle class of Malaysia, middle upper, right? Your T20, all this help to build Mont Kera to and Desa Park City to what it is today. So the other areas can only say, I'm going to be like that, but they are not like that. Right? Country Heights Damansara has been trying to be Bangsa for 20 years. It's still not Bangsa.
Yep.
Right? So just be careful when agents try to use a similar comparison property, right? Very clever, they're gonna tell you, see Desa Park City at this price. But they will never tell you go and check Damansara Damai, which is just equally from a distance point of view, it's the same. Right?
Damai closer.
But they will never.
Damai closer good, I think.
So let's argue like it's the same distance, but they will never use it. No, they want different area, different. So your job as a buyer is just to ask the question now. Why? So what about Damansara Damai? So if you like Damansara Damai, then this thing will look shit expensive. But again, to be fair, if we want to hantam this product, we just say this is crazy. This is Yahudi Damansara Damai maximum 500 ringgit per square foot. What the hell you guys are doing buying here 900? We can, because just next door, ma. But at the same time, it's not Damansara Damai. This is Sri Damansara. But at the same time, you also have to understand Sri Damansara is also not Desa Park City. Just like Damansara Damai is not Sri Damansara, definitely not Desa Park City. Okay, guys?
Faizul, since this price is already a tier 1 price, right? Do you think this area gonna be upgraded to tier 1? Whereby MRT is already there, potentially mall and hotel, once the mall, hotel and offices is up, do you think the rental gonna go up?
No. Very unlikely. Like I said, tier 1 requires some special condition. Why Mont Kera become Mont Kera was the presence of international school and the fact that it's near enough to Bangsa, near enough to KL City Center and all that. So all of that, it's a bit of a coincidence, and it was built over 30 years. Right? So the dynamic is very different. Right? Desa Park City, there's only one place like that got that kind of level of park, that kind of commercial center in the whole of KL, which is also freehold. Right? So will this be a tier 1 area? The answer is no. Right? I don't think so. Nonetheless, Similar to how SS2 will never be a tier 1. But today, they're already high-rise in SS2 going for 1,000, 1,001 per square foot transacted. So there's value in old money area. So SS2, what happened? You got old money, first gen tinggal in the landed property nearby, then second generation go and buy high-rise nearby. And they will never move out because they like SS2. They like the area, they like the kepong, they like my whatever cicong fan and nasi lemak, apa pokok, tak apa benda tak dekat kepong tu kan, yang popular tu, right?
Oh,
And there's that affinity to the area that makes the second gen will want to stay nearby, right? Stay nearby into the area. So will this be a 1,000, 1,200 ringgit per square foot area? Potentially, yeah. Why not? Simply because at the end of the day, it's all about preference, supply and demand. And again, if Desa Park City move up to 2005, people always compare to Desa Park City if you are buying this, right? So why do you buy here 1,002? Because Desa Park City today is 2005. And there'll be cheapskate, right? Who want nearby Desa Park City, but will buy here lah because, well, they can't afford the actual Desa Park City. All right? But for us as the investor here, that, if you can buy tier 1, because today, the actual tier 1 area, you can buy at 700 ringgit per square foot or less. So to me, from an investment point of view, which is why we give it only 2 stars, simply because, well, if I can buy tier 1 at 650, 700 ringgit per square foot, why do I want to buy tier 2, which is unproven from a rental market point of view? And as of today, rental already cannot be even when you look at Ativo. It's just very, very, very hard. Right? So again, Sri Damansara is never going to be the sub-city, right? Just like Damansara Damai will also never going to be Sri Damansara. Right? So, but both are tier 2. One is the upper end tier 2, which is Sri Damansara, and Damansara Damai will be your lower end. So it won't be a tier 1. At least lah for the next 10 years, I don't think so lah. But tiba-tiba 1,000 French community tiba-tiba duduk kat sana and push the rental to be 5 to 10,000, then jadilah tier 1. Because for tier 1 to happen, it has to be an international area destination. Right? So there's only 2 places only lah. In the last 10 years, they actually broken the tier 1. Bangsa South, and the other one is Desa Park City. Right? I think Bukit Jalil will happen first. I think Maluri will become tier 1 first before this area can become tier 1.
I was going to say Bukit Jalil, but it sounds just because I stay there.
I know, which is why I had to say it. Right? So it is what it is lah. So like I said, I think Bukit Jalil is better prime, right, from a master plan point of view to become a tier 1 compared to here.
But I think to Zakri's question, I think besides price per square feet, the renter needs to follow through. Only it's tier 1.
So I said, if the MRT is already there, what if the rental goes up? If the mall happen, office and hotel happen after?
But MRT has never been the magical potion for locations to be tier 1. You get what I mean? It's a magic formula
And
to
the
tier 2
moment
lah.
the moment it's above 700 ringgit per square foot, the MRT is technically useless. It's hardly a selling point anymore. And above 700 ringgit per square foot doesn't help. The MRT doesn't help. Like just like Kota Damansara, right? People should argue, right? Let's say if you compare to the Tropicana Garden site, right? Got MRT, right? Also part of Damansara, right? Also got mall, right? Until today belum tier 1, guys. Sampailah sekarang. Even though it's next to Tropicana.
That one international school got, mall got, medical center got, office got, apa pun ada.
And the MRT isn't really helping lah, so much lah. Right?
The MRT is helping the offices and also the malls here, but not the residential here.
Yes. Right? So
Not yet
even
not yet lah.
And these guys are buying what? 800 ringgit per square foot per space. I still don't think anyone has made money, positive cash flow at that price point. So again, above certain per square foot, which is 700 per square foot, your MRT is useless. TTDI is the same, right? So people are not making additional rental once the MRT is completed because, well, it was already 900 ringgit per square foot. It doesn't help. So at this price point, everything has been priced in.
Tapi landed sini mahal lah.
Hmm.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Which I think lah, this development will actually push landed property price to become even more expensive.
Mm,
Now your average double story will probably be about 1.5 in the next
right.
5 years, right? Because your 3 bedroom is already 1 million here.
Mm.
Hmm. Okay, let's go. Zach.
Okay. So next is Gen Stars, right? So this one called Gen Stars. This is quite hot where this is gonna be potentially gonna be a TOD, right? Really next door lah, really next door on the future MRT3. And the area is at Old Klang Road lah, right? So this one, to be honest, access wise is great, and the best part is the future MRT one lah, right? So first, how do agent market these Gen Stars? So it's a TOD development. Yes. So the proposed site is just next to them, sebelah saja. Think about 50-meter walk, not even 100 meter lah, 50-meter walk je. Or tak sampai lah, right? Sebab betul-betul sebelah je. And the other one that they mentioned here is the KTM Pantai Dalam lah. If you check, it's quite far. Not really walking, but MRT, yes, betul-betul next door lah, right? And just a little bit of context lah. This MRT, if it's happened, MRT Jalan Klang Lama ni, this is gonna be a park and ride MRT lah. There's gonna be a parking located as well as the MRT stations lah, right? So next is the great return, right? Based on the agent can get up to 6% ROI. It depends on actually depends lah. Because the price also um depends on the unit and apa semua, right? But the neighborhood punya rental macam okay lah as of today, right? The Millers and also the Verve lah, right? And it's a freehold property. If you want to compare the neighbor, next door Verve and also Millers also is a freehold property lah, right? And it is, as what they mentioned, is a strategic location whereby this is at Old Klang Road. The access, to be honest, quite good. To Mid Valley about one road away saja. So you can access to Bukit Jalil also, UOG, also Puchong lah, right? So to be honest, quite center lah. These Gen Stars, right? And the most highlighted one is low density development. Only 360 units on top of about 1.3, 1.4 acres of land lah, right? Consider low density for this Auckland Road area lah, right? So this is based on the agent's marketing POV lah. So let's see on what we think the real USP for this project. Yes, it's TOD, about 50-meter walking to future MRT, but not KTM lah, right? And it's a freehold. Yes, we also think it's a low density development. Cuma, if you are calculating based on the per acre, looking about 300 units, macam not that low lah. But in overall developments, as one development, is considered really low density development, 360 units saja per one development, right? And this is Auckland Road. We agree that connectivity is great. As mentioned, can go to many places lah. I think the concern here is only the traffic. Quite congested. There's a lot of service apartments, and there's a lot of connectivity to Mid Valley side, to Bukit Jalil, OUG, Pujong side. People will use this Old Klang Road as their main access lah, right, to the KL. And I think the last but not least, the concern here is we see a lot of new developments coming up to this area. So this can be considered as also the completed one lah. So this considered Auckland Road area can be considered as a high supply area, but not this development lah, right? So this is the info for Gen Stars. As usual, you can screenshot first. But roughly they're gonna have 3 types of layout from 2 bed 1 bath, 2 bed 2 bath, and 3 bed 3 bed 2 bath. Sizing from 650 up to 874 square feet. Size is considered correct, but not too big, right? Quite optimum lah, right? When we are talking about TOD and near offices and apa semua, the size is already there lah. Okay. Price roughly about from 750 PSF, depends on the flooring, depends on the facing, right? And to complete about 2028, right? And this will complete first, then baru MRT complete lah. I think MRT gonna take about the next 5-7 years, 2030 roughly, and onwards lah. All right. And they're gonna have 2 floors of facility with a swimming pool and many more lah, and the rooftop facilities. So rooftop, the swimming pool is only located at level 7. So the rooftop facilities with no swimming pool lah, but they got the rooftop facilities lah, right? So let's see here on the Homestay perspective for this project. In terms of accessibility, clearly stated, this is Auckland Road. So Auckland Road lah. Also accessible to federal highways towards Bangsar side. NPE, quite near also. Max and KL Sembawang Expressway lah. After that, I think is on the access wise, I think it's quite convenient also. It's an Auckland Road, well-known place, right? Amenities wise, they are SJKC, located I think opposite side saja. Secondary schools also ada dekat nearby. Also the groceries nearby lah, dekat Millers and apa semua, and few others lah, right? Public transport obviously 50 meter to future MRT 3 Jalan Klang Lama, and the mortgage here is based on the roughly lowest PSF unit. For smallest to the biggest type, about 2,300 plus up to 3,100 plus depends on the unit, floor and facing, right? So that's for Homestay. For investment, right? Median sale here as of today for these about 630 ringgit PSF median for Auckland Road. For older development, considering the same vicinity towards the site, about 590-ish lah PSF. And we consider this area as tier 2 area since this is Auckland Road lah, right? Upcoming supply, you can see here, quite few upcoming, up to the Radium Arena site to the end of Jalan Klang Lama. And booster here obviously is the MRT 3, Jalan Klang Lama, quite clear. Will be completed about 2030, 2032 lah, like that. MRO is whole net rental and co-living. I believe since it's fully furnished, fully residential kind of development, by assumption that baby cannot do, it's not the market here lah, right? Plus it's a low density also, right? And the rental here next door, Millers and Verve, right? So Millers newer for 2-bedder up to about 3,002, 3-bedder up to 3,006, Verve 2-bedder up to 2,004, all right? And yep, so that's a comparable Millers and Verve just located next to this Genstyles punya project site lah, all right? Right, so let me bring along the panelists again. What do you guys think about this Genstyles? William?
I want to ask Zakri, what's the 3-bedders new rental dekat Auckland Road generally across the whole Auckland Road, 3-bed 2-bath
If you are talking about Auckland Road and everything there, it's
yeah.
actually a big range lah. But if you're talking about the nearest comparable is Millers. Millers is actually up to about 3,005 to 3,006 for 3-bedder Millers. I think in comparison to Verve, Millers has higher rental lah. If you're talking about really close comparable, location comparable, Millers is about 3,006 like that. Yep.
Okay, I think honestly still okay because I'm thinking from our gen kind of point of view, right? Like Auckland Road, memang no public transport and people just need to drive. So this one being one of the closest, in fact, you can consider it TOD to MRT 3, upcoming one. Auckland Road, I think looks, sounds more feasible. You can avoid the jam during the peak hour, if you want to see the jam along the Auckland Road, right? You just take the MRT and go anywhere else. So I think from that point of view, I think it's pretty doable. To go for Homestay. And yeah, I think Homestay that layout, 2-3 bedrooms, good enough. At this price point, yeah, like I said, the rental for 3-bedroom is about 3K each. Although Millers will be better specs, I think. So you get end of 2+ K rental about to cover as of current rate because it's going to be completed in 3-4 years time. So I think investment wise macam okay also in that sense, because of one thing the walkability to the MRT itself along that tech road. So if one more option to travel, right? You see from your window, look out outside the road, you see that crazy jam, right? You just take the MRT go Mid Valley or else. I think so far both okay for me. Yeah, deal for me. Zakri?
I got a few concern lah. I think concern here to own stay ataupun untuk rental long term. If you got level 7 car park, quite mati I really need to go 7 times up, 7 times down. That's quite normal concern lah for high floor punya car parking kan. And second, I think the access code, so the access is quite direct to the main road. I think our current road is quite busy in traffic. So if you are looking to drive, macam you start terus lah, you keluar terus start lah. Hence I think macam concern sikit lah. But in terms of low density is good. And the TOD potential future MRT 3 also is a good USP lah. Layout also quite good. I think for investment, I think macam okay lah with the layout. Even I personally don't really like Oakland Road for investment. I mean to stay lah. For personal reason lah, right? Tapi for me macam yes lah for investment. But not really for own stay lah. Because I personally don't like Oakland Road lah.
You only like tier 1
Auckland Kiara, I don't know.
Auckland Kiara. Auckland segambut. Oh, segambut lah.
Yeah. So no for on stay, yes for investment. I think, Sean?
I reviewed I paid a visit to the project before. The good things has always been the connectivity, which is the highway to everywhere lah. So all the main highways get to all the offices is excellent. Then now you add on MRT 3, right? But that will also be the problem because like when you say TOD, right? Everybody says TOD. To me, that proper TOD, the only one that is I'm having in my mind now is like Tropicana Gardens. That's a proper TOD. Means you have integrated within the same building. So it's not like a residence that is close to the MRT. It needs to be attached with offices, hotels, malls, air-conditioned walkways. If I'm a vampire, I can still survive until I get to the MRT one. I won't kena any sunlight. To me, that's TOD. Right? But there's no clear definition on it. That's why everybody use TOD. So
Wah, fuck man. Sean's punya definition of TOD has to be vampire friendly. Ini first time aku dengar. You know? So,
Yeah, to that extent lah,
I never,
because
I never thought about it. Okay. Wow. Okay.
you wear the bad shirt, so I kind of macam so because there's another term called TAD that nobody talks about it. The transit adjacent development, which is you can walking distance away from the LRT station. That is the proper term. But nobody cares lah because you need to walk ma. Malaysian don't like walking ma. Too bad lah. But that doesn't take away the advantage of this project being next to the MRT 3. But it comes like you say the park and ride kind of thing. So the main road to the parking of the MRT is your access road.
Yeah.
So, and I think to this age, right, I don't think anybody can 100% survive from MRT. You still somewhat need a car, need a ride out. Yeah, so for own stay, but the layout is very nice, especially the dual key one. For investment, definitely can buy. But for own stay, I would suggest to buy with the intention of investment. Means I need the house, but I buy it with the intention of investment. When MRT siap, I pindah keluar. So I can rent out the unit, then only I can do something with it. So the convenience of it comes from the Millers side of things, the commercial side from Millers. So it's a walking distance, but raining you cannot go and eat lah. But the havoc there is you are sandwiched between Old Klang Road, then you have the MRT 3, then you have an elevated highway next to you.
MPE.
I think it's the NPE also.
Yeah.
The U-turn punya NPE. Yeah. So you are affected in multiple dimensions from a noise point of view lah. So I don't know what's the specifications of the window. Nobody knows yet. And behind you, you got all the PPR.
Yeah.
So there, you just look at normal days. Old Klang Road punya setting so big the width also no car park mana. Illegal car park punya tempat pun tak ada. Don't say proper car park. Illegal pun tak ada. But you got a lot of people also maybe that will drive up the rental lah. Yeah. So to me, I will buy for investment only.
Hmm. I think the product is definitely not expensive. Given what the other things are being sold as of today. In Auckland Road. That's for one. I don't know what's our rating for own stay and investment. Maybe you can pull the next slide. Right. I might give it a half star higher for own stay, right? Given the fact that I think from a net price point of view is quite reasonable, right? For a first time home buyer. And let's say, for example, the ideal person is someone like Sean but poorer. So similar age to Sean, but maybe like half or one or 70% poorer than Sean lah. So Sean will never buy this because he's rich, right? Fucking rich, right? You're not gonna get a guy who wears a Pati Philip go and stay here. But you might get a guy who wears an Oris or a Tech Heuer quite comfortably making 10,000 per month household income. Now, will be quite a good property simply because father, mother can take MRT to go to work. School is nearby. So if I was young couple Chinese family, there are not going to be a lot of property I can say which is going to be better to raise a kid lah. Obviously, the noise and the congestion is a different story lah. But I think as a parent, I think this place will be quite popular later for subsale amongst young parents who intend to send their kid to the school opposite. That's a secondary ke primary school? Like
Primary.
SJKC.
Primary.
Sekolah
primary.
Kebangsaan, yes.
So it's like you lah, Sean. It's just poorer guy than you lah. No driver, no car, or no two cars, just one car, right?
Banyak.
So it's like a M40 young Chinese family. I think we'll find this probably a 5-star from a verdict point of view because not very easy to find MRT and Chinese school. This combo is very unique. And in a Chinese area whereby you got all this food and whatnot. So I think for some people, it's going to be a 5-star for own verdict. Investment, as you can say, layout wise, is net price is not too high. Someone got dual key, which most likely going to be good. The investment we give 3-star. I think the only reason why this isn't higher, right, is that I think we're buying something a little bit more exclusive, just a couple of minutes away from here. A lot less density, and it's at a cheaper price per square foot at a much better quality too, at a less congested road, right? But despite that, I still think if you only have one car, got a young family, and you intend to send your kid to a Chinese school, you pick that one over the thing that we buy at 550 per square foot, even though it's the way better property, right? So I think for that consideration, I think this property is actually quite unique in that sense. Because I cannot think of any other school, right? Any other place whereby you got a MRT, vibrant commercial nearby, and on top of that, you got a Chinese school nearby. Quite a rare combo. Confirm doesn't appeal to me or Zach. But I think the moment William, other kids, maybe can consider William. But William also on track to become like Sean, kaya. So maybe
on
tak
track
mau
ah.
dekat sini.
Unless you want to
on
send
track
our
lah.
kids to Chinese
Wow.
school.
A compliment.
Just need a Chinese wife, bro.
Right? Because your children's school is a very important consideration for a lot of families.
Yeah, it's an everyday
So
thing.
yeah, so it's the everyday thing, right? And you got MRTs, you suffer a lot less too lah, going to work and whatnot, right? So I think lah, for some people, they will find this to be a 5-star for own stay. I mean, I wouldn't.
Okay, because this
Right.
is very interesting because there's one more project I think that we are going to see later has the exact same typology.
Ah,
Public transport with a school.
ah,
Oh,
Yeah, so that's good. I think so. First time also I combo those two elements together. So very interesting.
mm.
Yeah.
So I think net price is okay. Layout is great. I mean, facilities nothing great to shout about, but net price is all right lah. So I mean, you get what you pay for lah, right? So I think Miller's is a nearby competition, and I think there's a reason lah why Miller's rental is actually quite good, right? And I think if you look at the demographic of the tenants, I think it'll be quite similar to what we just described, that we'll see this location as like the ideal location. Mm. All right. Okay.
right.
Next.
Okay. So next is Arte Solaris Moncara. So before that, so this one for people to get confused, this is one that under construction, which located next to Solaris Moncara, and they are already Arte Moncara is the one completed 5 to 6 years ago, with the fingerprint design tu, yang hitam putih tu. That one is Arte Moncara located at Dutamas, KL Metropolis Dutamas, right? And they name it as Arte Moncara, but this one is Arte Solaris that located in Moncara, all right? The one that under construction. So first, how do Asian outside market this Arte Solaris? First, they claim this is the cheapest price you can buy something, or you can buy any property in Mont Kiara price below 500,000 to own something in Mont Kiara lah. All right. And next is GRR, guaranteed rental return under their operator, their rental operator, right? And also here is the claim 6 to 10% ROI with fully furnished package. And also this project is we can enter at zero down lah, right? And last but not least, there will be an Airbnb operator with high occupancy, as high as what they claim is 80% occupancy. And what we check Monkera today, roughly about 50 to 60% in average lah, all right? Especially to those in Arte Monkera, right? Highest about 70-ish lah, okay? So to summarize, right, they market this to target for investment, also targeting for if long-term stay, long-term rental or own stay, targeting for single to family stay lah. Due to the simplex and duplex kind of layout, and they have very big size and they have also for a very small size. And these will also be a kind of boutique development kind of concept. And mainly ads is pushing for short-term rental like Airbnb lah, right? So so this is based on the marketing agents marketing POV. So let's see on what we think the real USP for this project. Yes, price is low in terms of absolute price. The final price for Mon Kiara, you can get something below 500k. But the price PSF, to compare the price PSF to this area median, not really lowers, right? It's just at the final price. And the concern here is the development is mainly looking for, as mentioned, short-term rental. So the future maintenance is one of the concern, which what has happened to the other development, the Arte as well, Arte Mokiara a few years ago, lah, right? Because they were targeting mainly for short-term stay, short-term rental. All right. So this is the info for Arte. As usual, you can screenshot first. Roughly, they have about 600 units in total with 51 story of building. Completion roughly about 2026 expected. Layout, simplex and duplex. So for their simplex is 1+1 or 2-bedder lah. Up to 2-bedder, 1 bath. Sizing from 477 to 861 square feet, right? And the duplex one is 2 to 3-bedder, sizing about 790 to 100 and 1050 square feet lah. All right, with the pricing roughly from 900 to 1000 ringgit PSF, depends on the unit and the level facing, etc. Right, and the facilities here, swimming pool, sky lounge, garden, etc. Right. So let's see on the project perspective, on the on-state perspective, in terms of accessibilities, so this is Mount Kiara, near Dutamas, so accessible to Jalan Kuching, Penchala Highway, NKVE, Sprint Highway, Duke and many more lah, right? Quite convenient. Amenities wise, there's a primary school nearby, secondary schools, international schools also in the Mount Kiara area. Healthcare in Mount Kiara area itself also. Shopping mall, Publica is one of the nearby. And Solaris, Mount Kiara is just next door, right? And they got groceries and quite a number lah, right? And public transport, there will be a future Utama's MRT stations, but not really near, right? Think gotta walk about 1 km each lah, right? And the mortgage here is based on the random lowest PSF unit. Jadi here we get the simplex for 2-bedder, roughly about 3,001 for roughly about this particular size lah, right? And duplex one roughly about 3,009 plus close to 4K for 960 square feet size. All right. So for investment perspective, median subsale here as of now, as of today, for this vicinity, roughly about 990 PSF. New about close to 1,000 about 1,000 PSF lah, right? And O for this particular vicinity, roughly about 880 PSF. For this side of Mount Kiara lah, right? And this is tier 1 Mount Kiara. This area considered matured, only looking at the KL Metropolis master plan and MRT punya completion lah, right? And MRO looking at whole unit rental and obviously short term Airbnb. And the rental comparison can see here, small unit Arte Mount Kiara lah. So we compare direct. Arte Mount Kiara is located just about the vicinity. 1-bedder roughly about 1,008 to 2,002, and 2-bedder for duplex in Arte Mount Kiara roughly about 2,008 up until about 3,003 lah, right? For fully furnished. And there is one more direct comparison which is located just nearby, roughly 2-bedder up to 4,005 at Kami Residence, right? It's a newly completed property. Okay. So just to share, Airbnb rate for Arte Mount Kiara, the one completed, located in Dutamas KL Metropolis. You can see here, these are the rental for 1-bedder and the duplex 2-bedder unit lah, right? So we can see here roughly the pricing about 100 ringgit-ish. Even for duplex 2-bedder is slightly below 200 ringgit. It's very hard to find today the rental above 200 ringgit per night lah. Alright. Disclaimer, this one is based on the weekdays when you rate lah. Alright. Weekends potentially will be a little bit higher than this. But you can see down here, this is the agent's projection, rental projection for short term rental. So simplex for 1-bedder and 1-bedder or 2-bedder, they projected based on 320 ringgit per night for 70% occupancy. And the duplex here for 3-bedder, roughly about 550 per night with 70% occupancy, which will reflect to about 6 up to 11,000 rental income per month, right? So we can see quite huge difference in comparison to Arte Mount Kiara. Arte Mount Kiara today is one of the short-term rental kind of the development with the operator operating there, right? So that we think the projection for this Arte Solaris is a little bit too high lah. All right. So I think let me bring the panelists again. What do you guys think about this Arte Solaris, William?
I want to start first. So the award for the most misleading agent for tonight's deal or grill have to go for the Arte Solaris agents lah, right? Which I think is just too smart because they use a rental long-term comparison to things like, for example, like Kiaraville, right? Or Iherng, which is not a comparable product, that's for sure. Yeah, number one. Right? And then short term, they basically use Jalan Kiara 1 property, which is your oak, and whatnot, which again is completely misleading because it's a completely different area. You got same commercial, but you got a mall at Oak. This one you don't have lah, right? And very quietly, right? They never actually use the benchmark against Dorset, Hartamas, right, which is not too far away. Or actually, the most obvious one, the most comparable would be Arte Monkiara lah. So you can see here, for obvious reason, because the studio unit dekat sana going for about 120, 130 per night, that,
Yeah.
right? And the duplex is going for how much dekat sana?
Sorry, bukan studio, the one bedder unit with the glass.
One bedroom.
Roughly
Ah.
about, here can see 115, but in a higher average about 120 to 130 on the weekends. So this one is the one that duplex, two bedder, roughly about 150 ada, 190 ada. It's hard to find those rental above 200 ringgit per night kat sini for two bedder duplex.
Yeah. So again, long story short, the agent is just scamming you guys, right, into believing that this property rental is going to be so high on a per night basis. And number two, they are also assuming the occupancy rate is what, 80%?
70, but they claim the rental operator can get up to 80%.
Right? When if you look at the data from AirDNA, the average rental rate for Arte Monkiara roughly is about what, 50%?
Yeah.
Right? 50%. So quite misleading on all fronts. So the title for worst agent for tonight will have to go for this project. Again, I don't think the developer has got any ill intention. But as per usual, right? If you hire 10 agents, you're gonna have 10 agencies. You're gonna bound to have 1-2 agencies at 20%. That is basically spoiling everything for everyone, right? So please be mindful. Some agents will say and do anything just to get a sale, right? And there's a purpose. You know, if you look at our format, we never show, right, the Airbnb rates and whatnot, right? So because we think the claim tonight, at least for this particular project, is just a little bit melampau lah. So we have to highlight, right? So number one, when they compare only with, you know, expensive property lah. They don't compare with well, the not performing as well one lah, right? Then you could also argue this product is very comparable to Arte Monkiara, right? Some would argue this location is better than Arte Monkiara. For me personally, I think the location and the facilities, because it's a much bigger land, Arte Monkiara is better. Right? For me lah, at least location-wise, it's not as congested, number one. It's not going to be as noisy, number two. From a facilities point of view, it's also greater lah in Arte Monkiara compared to this one. This one, the only thing it has got going for it is the fact that you go downstairs, there's a lot of commercial. That's it. Right? I think the people who are owning property in Kiaraville is probably, and Iherng is probably at the biggest risk, because if the light is going to be as bright as per many of the Arte product, right? So the people staying there is going to be quite okay lah. You know, you buy there, you okay lah, right? But the people opposite of you are chialat, man. It's like, fuck, you know. Right? So it's bright lights. So basically, yeah, I foresee some units in Kiaraville will actually be affected from a sub-sale and rental point of view, especially the one facing this property. Right? So, you know, for those who are watching and you are owners of Kiaraville or Iherng, probably not a bad time to go and sell, given the fact that things are expensive, largely driven by Pavilion punya side. And the moment this property is completed, you know, Arte Monkiara, at least you're not facing any of the nearby apartments, right? So a bit okay, right? Even my old property wasn't like directly facing, so it wasn't too bad. So I've not tracked any other property out there which is like right opposite of any form of Arte property that is now, as of today, is suffering from the, you know, excessive lights, right? So the one in Cheras pun, I don't think there's any building nearby kan.
Tak ada.
Right. So yeah. So
Ya,
I think
Ampang lah.
from yeah. Ampang dia tak banyak lampu sangat. So the Ampang one was like the first one. So it's
But the
not
whole
too,
area all sekali all.
yeah. So I was thinking the Ampang, right? Because, you know, we got a property nearby, but it wasn't affected simply because, at least from a night light scheme point of view, it's not as aggressive as the Monkiara one or the Cheras one.
No maintenance fee to switch on the light already.
Aiyo.
Macam yes lah.
So, no. Yeah.
Uh,
So for the agents marketing this project, please do better. We're calling bullshit on you, right? Don't mislead the people, lah. Huh? If it's just 50% of, here's the thing, right? The size is great. The layout is actually pretty good. Size is great. Selling price per square foot also not expensive. You don't have to fucking do this, ah. You know what I mean? You really don't have to mislead people. The product is well priced, right? The product is already well priced. It's the cheapest 2 bedroom you can find anywhere in this area. It will sell by itself, right? But when you park all this Airbnb projection and whatnot, you're bringing a different set of buyers, so which I don't think is great for the development long term, right? And it's not good for the developer too lah. Kesian lah. Tak pasal-pasal kena char, because you guys, are too greedy lah, right? So yeah, sorry, William, go ahead. Deal or
okay.
grill?
I think Arte products so far, I check out only two lah, like Arte Cheras and Arte Moncera. Both have their own reason not good for long-term staying lah. Like Arte Cheras, I think just one thing is like from car park ground floor, you want to go up to your lift lobby. I think you need to have a separate lift lobby for that. You want to go up all the way to your unit, it's like not so convenient. That's one thing already. And provided that also the sitting height is not as spacious lah. I think you feel a bit depressed for my height. So I'm about 6 feet. So yeah, I think it's depressing to stay there. And Arte Moncera, I check out a few units, studio, duplex. Yeah, I don't find any point staying there lah. I mean, you have so many great options in the area, right? Recently, you have Solaris Park, phase 1, phase 2 launching soon. So really not much reason to stay there other than being fancy, having fancy facilities. So I checked this one, like Arte Solaris quite similar lah to Arte Moncera as well. I think one of the best selling point actually is, you after you have your drinks, the alcoholic drinks next to you, right? The Solaris Moncera, then you can just walk back lah, to your condo instead of driving. I think that will be the main selling point. Yeah, other than that, I don't see anyone really staying here, like for long term, to be honest, other than those short term stay being punya tenant. Yeah, like, there's so many good options already lah along Moncera. And this one shines up in terms of Airbnb, like its predecessor, Arte Moncera, but homestay wise, memang grill, totally grill. Size as layout as well. It's not meant for proper homestay lah. It's more free size kind of free configuration kind of layout. Yeah, meant for Airbnb. And investment, actually, I don't think its price is good lah. I mean, being leasehold, one of the few leasehold in the whole area, and pure commercial title lah, non HDA as well. So at almost 1,000 per square feet, I don't think it's a good price. I mean, Pavilion Moncera is 1,000 per square feet, freehold, residential, right? HDA. This one non HDA leasehold, among the rare one, leasehold, right? So I don't think it's priced good enough to invest. That's why they use Airbnb to justify the rental return. So both grill for me, yeah, because of the design basically and also pricing lah. Tapi
I personally think for own stay pun macam grill. Mula macam okay tau tengok RM900 plus, and the absolute price is about 400k plus. I mean, going to 400k you can get something 2-bedder, 1+1 lah actually. But by looking at the layout, yang proper 2-bedder tu, the bedroom is on the window side. Yang 1+1 tu is the one yang you can have the living hall to
yeah.
window lah. But the 2-bedder one tu, so that's your kitchen and living hall, and your bedroom is on the window side. Same like Arte Moncera. Arte Moncera also, the 1-bedder is the bedroom is on the window side. So before the window is actually your living hall and kitchen, dining area semua. So I don't think it's macam layout dia not really for own stay. But the size is good. Size is good to have a 1+1 and 2-bedder. But I don't think the layout is own stay friendly. And this gonna be a short stay punya. You're gonna share the same facilities, common area with the short stay punya orang. So I don't think I want to stay with the same Airbnb punya development lah. So grill for homestay. Investment, I think the MRO yang macam boleh buat macam yang solid is not much. Where they are targeting largely on the short stay. For long stay, I think will be affected a bit lah. Just want to share a friend that renting dekat Arte Monkera, even the rental for one bedder now is already 1,008, 1,007,
2000.
lowest ah,
Okay.
2,000-ish. But my friend still renting at 1,003
Oh.
partly furnished. Just renew the contract. It's just that she secured the rental about 2 years ago, post-COVID. So she got the 1,003 partly furnished up until today. She just renewed the rental lah. So I believe the long-term rental pun macam so grill also for investment. Sean?
I've spoken to many Arte owners, especially the Cheras one. And when I met, easily there's like 8 when I was there. Very surprisingly, they like the outstanding facade. And that is the main reason why they buy. So, like what Faizul just now said, which is absolutely true. Just imagine if you do not market this project as a Airbnb, right? 300 over units, how hard can it be?
Easy.
Right? And the easiest, lowest 2-bedroom next to
Yep.
Solaris.
Yeah.
And
Easy.
if you are just here for the city life for 1 to 2 years, then you want to settle down, then you rent this out lah, cheap, right? Settle. I think that will be a way better direction to it lah, compared to just because automatically people will go and think about Airbnb. By default, people will already think about it. Since you have a stigma that is not very good, because I've always had this theory, what if COVID didn't happen? Will Arte Monkera be the biggest thing? Because it was the main. Yeah, even with COVID, right, the Airbnb did excellent. Just that the maintenance didn't do well, ma. Yeah, lor. So, like, from everything they do, like, so from Arte's point of view as a developer, all sales are excellent, all sold out. It's only the owners who bought suffered the consequences, ma. But is it the direction of the project wrong? I don't think so lah. But now, like what Faizul said also, again, marketing is wrong. But at this price point, this density, if you just quietly go about it, right, I think sold out already one day. Because like what William said, like if you are a couple working in Mont Kiara, right, which other cheaper option with walking distance commercial? No more
I think there's
already.
only two, right? If you're
Yeah.
talking, if you extend Monkera and Dutamas, then you either have either Solastar or this,
Mm.
right? So from a walkability to commercial point of view, this will beat Solastar for sure.
Yep. And a lot of lawyers would also want to stay here because their office is just next door. But just that again, then the direction of the facade design, you are going for that Gothic kind of architectural element where it's going to be like Gotham like that. You have gargoyles on top of it with the lights on. Yeah, so but as a developer's mindset, I think they changed the game. Arte, this group changed the entire game by giving you best structures and wrap it up very nicely, and people buy. So
It's very
sometimes,
unique lah. The
yeah,
product completely stand out. You can see it from few kilometers away. It's just unique lah,
yep.
right?
And people like it. There are people who like it, and that's all you need. Instead of compelling to everybody else, right? I think yeah, lor. So I think from that's why when I say for my own personal no lah, I think if would I buy this to stay myself? No. Will I invest in this? No. But for people who have never been into properties, oh, there's a building that looks like a museum. Why not buy? And because we have visited so many different projects, right? We assume from lobby to the unit must be one lift. But for those who buy the Arte Cheras one, right? To them
Ya
it's
lor.
fine. They're like, huh? Like it's okay, mah. I think not all buildings like that, man. Huh? Yeah, so I think so that's the difference also of their buyer range. It's more of a expression, self-expression kind of. It's like fashion, and then I also don't understand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for investment, I think long term got chance, right? So if the long term got chance, right, Airbnb shouldn't be a problem. It's just that they took the wrong reference, lah, oversold it, lah. It wouldn't be that bad, lah, I think. So investment might consider own stay, no lah.
I think as a reference, right? I think the only, in a way, Arte project that wasn't misrepresented and not being sold in a way that is misleading is probably Arte Cheras. And right now, it's the best performing property in the portfolio. I think from a sub-sale point of view, rental is pretty good, occupancy rate is very high, people like the property, right? People who buy it are generally quite happy, except for some unit got affected by the red light, lah. Right? But other than that, I don't hear people complaining about it, lah. I mean, returns are pretty decent, no auction too, right? So again, you don't have to slap Airbnb everywhere, lah, agent. Some property layout will sell by itself. And in this particular case, they've got the layout to be correct, facilities to be correct, right? You got no option, like literally no option. You really don't have to oversell this.
Yep.
Right? So like I said, we give credit where it's due. The product will be outstanding from a facade point of view. It'll be completely unique compared to the whole boring, property along that road, right? Where everything looks the same, right? And this, wow, suddenly, right? It's gonna look unique, lah. It's gonna look good, right? So I think from a rating point of view, own stay, we decided to give it a slightly higher rating simply because there's just isn't any other option of two-bedroom within that vicinity that you can buy below 600,000. Right? So from the affordability point of view, accessibility to cafes, location and whatnot, I think for own stay, for those with budget of below 700,000, there's only two options. You want one is walkable to everything, it's going to be this one. The other one a little bit more peaceful, which is a bit further from everything else, which is going to be Solaris. There's only two options really of two-bedroom, right? Again, it's not higher than Solaris simply because one is freehold, one is leasehold. And Solaris is also cheaper from a price per square foot point of view. Your two-bedroom is going for 550, the most expensive, right? Investment, we give it 2 stars to 3 stars, a little bit unique simply because we think the smaller layout will make it from an investment point of view, the larger size, but same utility will probably not do as well, right? Because anyway, the same product, just larger, and you pay a lot more expensive, right? 100 to 200,000 more expensive, which is why from investment point of view, we think some product will make it, some product won't make it, especially the larger size unit with similar layout. So again, right, there's nothing wrong with the product. We think the developer has done quite well designing the product. Agent needs to do a lot better, guys. Don't missell, don't misrepresent. And I guess last bit of it, the only reason why this is not rated higher is because, again, you got Solasta within the same vicinity, which is priced at much more affordable, right? Being freehold, right? Number one. Number two, we're also buying something similar, in a way, right? At just below 800 ringgit per square foot freehold, right? With rooftop pool. So there are better properties that you can buy compared to this. But nonetheless, this is pretty decent. It's okay. They're just better buy,
Actually,
which is what we cannot give
I
it
want
higher.
to I want to add on one point, like help the agents, not sort of help lah, but I just want to share their situation. So if not mistaken, I got multiple friends from different agencies, right? So they're actually having difficulties finding leads for these projects. So which might actually having them change their strategies lah in getting into Airbnb things. In fact, I think developer actually give extra incentives, right, out of the normal standard commission, right, to the agents. So probably they have difficulties finding normal buyers at renting out in the long-term rental strategy. So just to add that into the perspective.
I think it's a double-edged sword one. So when you start with Airbnb, right, straight away people who wanted to stay
Mm,
no longer interested,
true.
And
right?
look, as long as they're not misrepresenting, then all is good lah. Right? All is good, right? But I think when people misrepresent, yeah, your cost per lead is gonna become higher and all of that, right? But doesn't give you the license to go online lah. Otherwise, Najib wouldn't be in jail.
Okay.
You know what I mean, right? So if you are okay with people doing things immorally or ethically incorrect, right? Then we have to be okay with everything, right? If we're not okay with that, then we shouldn't be okay with this. So I mean we empathize, but I think misleading, mis-selling for profit, personal gain, I think it's just something that it is our job to go and call it out lah. And like I said lah, because at the end of the day, people, you see, when people buy, let's say for example, right, we are okay with this, right? Because we sympathize, right? So what happened? People are gonna buy this, right? With the intention of doing Airbnb, only to find out it's negative cash flow, right? By 1,000 or 2,000, right? So what happened? Right? So similar to Arte Monkera, there's gonna be a bunch of unit going for auction, similar to Arte Ampang. So who get hurt the most? Right? Is the owners 1,000 owners who actually paid money, their hard-earned salary, one property in the next 10 years, and these guys are suffering because, well, some agents want to drive a Porsche lah. I want to go to Hokkaido and eat snow crab lah, right, to meet sales target lah. So, we do empathize, but for the greater good, then we have to condemn lah, right? So that's all there is. No, then otherwise, then anyone also can claim anything, right? And people end up buying the wrong property, and people lose their life savings. Property go for auction lah, bankrupt lah, and apa semua tu. And as a whole, the whole real estate industry will suffer, right? So I mean, to give you an example, right? I think a couple of years ago there was an issue of loan compression or multiple submission. Yes, right? It was an issue, right? So a lot of people think it's evil. Nah, I've done it. I've done multiple submission, right? What I call it, right? Multiple times. And I made money every time I do it. But when you actually do loan compression or multiple submission with lousy property, and some people actually do it Arte Ampang, right? Which is why, for example, it was the most auction property, I can't remember which year, right? And the property price never recovered. So a bit sad lah for people who generally want to buy for own stay. Also got dragged by, by 10% of the unit that is being brought by the greedy developer or being, sold wrongly, right? By an agent. The agent will probably drive a Porsche or Ferrari. After that, he doesn't care. But the rest of the owners suffer big time. Cannot recover. Right? So I think, like I said, I think the whole idea of deal agree really, guys, we give you the full story, right? And we, so William William has got agent friends and whatnot, right? And again, we're trying to be as fair as possible to everyone. But when they say things wrongly, we just have to call it out. Let's go, Zach.
Let's go. to the next one, right? So next one is the Ria River City near KL Central, right? So this one near KL Central, but again the area is not really super close lah, but it's walkable. About 300 to 400 meters to KL Central side. This one is so called the brickfield area at the back lah, right near the Klang River, and also near the Tun Sambatan monorail lah. Alright. So first, how do agent outside market this the RIA? First is advanced GRR. So I think Faizul did mention earlier, this is the one yang mula-mula dia ada GRR at 6%, tapi suddenly the agent hari ni tiba-tiba mention, no GRR pula. So we rasa dia dapat sense lah yang kita nak buat this review kan. So yeah, not sure got GRR or not for this RIA, but initially for the past 1 week and 2 weeks plus, they've got the GRR, but suddenly today evening, no GRR, so sudden, right? And they claim up to 8% ROI since they are comparing those in KL Central side, right? And TOD, which walking to Tun Sambatan monorail, about 100-meter distance, walking distance, and about 300 to 400-meter walking to KL Central side, right? And also located in the job hotspot, as they are referring to KL Central officers punya master plan too. There's a lot of officers there, right? So to summarize, right, this is under River City development. The location is to be specific after the brickfield side lah, right, towards the monorail side. Okay. So this is based on the agent's marketing POV. So what's the real USP that we think? Yes, it's located quite a prime area, near KL Central. So can say this is KL Central vicinity lah, but not really next to it. You have to walk a little. Also walking to Tun Sambatan monorail stations, then we can consider this one is a TOD lah. All right. So next. Number of unit is 208,000 units out of 3 towers, and it's a leasehold property. Layout size from 2-bedder up to 3-bedder, 650 up to 800 square feet, right? Year of completion about 2027, expected number of story about 62, and net PSF roughly pricing about 920 ringgit PSF lah. All right, and they have facilities at level 12, the kid playground, the swimming pool, reading room, all the facilities, and also they have the rooftop facilities with the roof garden, the yoga, and also the food reflexology lah. All right. So next is own stay perspective. The accessibility wise, this is kind of central. So accessible to NPE, Sprint, Federal Highway is quite near. Jalan Amasara, Jalan Istana is also quite accessible from this KL Central area. Amenities wise, quite numbers of primary schools, secondary schools also quite walking distance. The national schools, the KL Central side. Universities, healthcare, and also shopping malls, which specifically referring to the KL Central side. All right. Public transport wise, as mentioned, walking distance 100 meters to Tun Sambatan monorail. And long-term livability, we can say that this area has a great accessibilities, and also the amenities is quite complete. All right. And here is a mortgage where referring to the 2-bedder and 3-bedder. 2-bedder roughly from this for this particular layout, roughly about 2,600 plus, right? And 800 square feet for 3-bedder is about 4,000 ringgit plus for the price 900 each PSF. All right. And this one is from the investment perspective. Median price for Brickfield specifically about 900 ringgit. For new, including the KL Central, including the Brickfield, roughly about 1,100 PSF. Older development about 840 ringgit PSF lah. This area can be categorized as tier 1 area, all right? And maturity point, we can consider as a matured area lah. MRO, roughly is a whole unit rental, and we can see here rental comparison. So there are also comparison between the Riveria side versus KL Central side. So you can see here on the Riviera side, the rental is actually okay already. Can cover the break even, lah, can cover the mortgage, potentially can give a positive cash flow. Even at the Riviera punya on the Ria punya side lah. But mostly agents do some projection. Obviously, they will portray this project as a KL Central property, so they will always compare this property, the Ria, with the KL Central properties rental, right? They were looking at about one bedder up until 3,005. Even studio is up until 2,005. Two bedder is up until 4,000, and five bedder is up until 5,000 lah, right? Where you can see the Riviera Central, one bedder is already up until 2,000 plus 2,002. Two bedder is about 3,006 lah. All right. So, bring the panelists again on what do you guys think about this, the Ria at Cat Central.
Yeah, I think
So,
Mr.
so,
Okay.
so very quickly, again, we cover the misrepresentation and mis-selling first. Brickfields is Brickfields, Care Central is Care Central. It's very clear border, clear line. What is not Care Central is not Care Central. Right? So again, agent love to compare with Care Central property, and there's a reason why they don't compare this to a proper Brickfields property lah. And there's gonna be a bunch of property within the similar vicinity that could have used to compare, but they won't. So they will compare with what? They will compare with KL Central, because then this will look cheap. Okay, so guys, agents will use a lot of tricks lah to go and compare. You kena pandai sikit lah. Janganlah naif sangat. Really percaya that you are buying KL Central, then pergi sana, this doesn't look like KL Central. Brickfields is Brickfields, KL Central is KL Central. Dia takkan sama. Okay, let's go, William.
Yeah, I think own stay again for single memang I think boleh loh, walkable to the public transport, small size single, totally no problem lah. Yeah, memang for me. So unless you're not single, then not doable lah. So I'm thinking from a single point of view, as in not married, then own stay actually yes. Yeah, and then for investment, yes, like Zakri mentioned, the cash flow actually looks pretty good. And I know that there's two bulk purchases outside actually getting this deal lah. And what they project, of course, they compare to the best one, which is what's the name? Central Residence, the KL Central one. They both of them right benchmark the same property lah, basically, and I think both of them get the same price also package. Yeah, Chinese bulk purchaser. So but I think cash flow really interesting lah. But my big concern, as per all the smaller size units, are that who do you want to sell, right? Like who's going your next buyer for your unit other than investor? So yeah, I think investment cash flow wise, I think memang deal lah, right? Other than that, yeah, which is a capital gain part of it, side of it, I think grill for that. Half lah.
I think own stay macam tak again personal reason. I don't like this area.
Wah.
You like Tier 1 only.
This one is
Old Segambut Road.
I don't like this area for personal reason.
You racist.
I didn't say anything.
You tak suka India. I
Hey.
tahu kenapa.
I didn't say anything. Everybody, Faizul is the one who said that.
Oh, tadi you tak suka Cina kat Auckland Road.
Kau racist. Auckland Road pun kau tak suka, Brickfield pun kau tak suka.
Zakri.
For personal reason.
I don't say anything. I don't say anything. Faizul and Sean yang cakap. I don't say anything. Alright. So I don't like this area for personal reason. And another concern is the high density punya concern code. Is a 2,800 units where people keep saying on Vertica is really high density, which you only add about 500, 600 units. You are actually comparable to Vertica already, right? So you're actually
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And this doesn't look like it. It's not even being discussed anywhere in the forum.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this level of density, right? People just assume that macam dia nampak macam okay lah, normal lah. You're
Yeah,
right. You
people
add
don't
few hundred
mention.
units, is already similar to Emphatica.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And less blocks.
Yes. Only 3 towers. And Vertica
So
got
the
5.
tower's gonna be even worse.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. I
Right.
think
But at least
it's-
Emphatica was selling at a discount,
Mm.
right? Given the density, right? This one, well, not really lah.
Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
good point, man. Yeah.
Mm.
No one is discussing this project in the form of density.
Yeah.
It is actually that close to Emphatica.
Yeah. And Vertica, what? 3,005, 3,006, like
But the
200 units only.
okay, you haven't summarized yet. Sorry.
Yeah. So I won't stay here because of that two reason. And also investment potentially good. Because I think the rental is there for Riveria, right? The rental is not too bad lah. Agent don't need to really compare to KL Central. I mean, you can show lah, but you don't really have to use lah. But they really use the rental for KL Central for the studio especially, to get the 4,000, 5,000 rental. For me, it's not comparable lah. But again, the concern is a price code because I can get potentially something cheaper in other tier 1 area like Bangsa South. Yeah. So sama
Hmm.
macam William 50-50 for investment but no for own stay. Sean.
Hmm.
I checked out Viveria. The owner made money because they delayed the project. So
Oh,
yeah, so then when you go to the center part of it, there's this very weird thing. There will be a area that is meant for a cafeteria or a canteen for staff. You have macam tempat letak stall. So that it will be in the podium where it connects all towers together, the floor above the car park level. Because this is an office building. That's why the density can go so high. So when you say just now the numbers, can it still go up? I think can still go up. So if this sells very good, I think for phase one, the owners don't have to be that sad lah. But most of the tenants that I saw that day was working people in KL Central. They go and take the train, not work there lah. The second one is a lot of students actually. So I think the better comparison is if you take the accommodation by Methodist College, that is further away, this makes more sense in this area for Viveria, not second phase. Second phase a little bit too expensive already. I think students will might as well just take and just walk lah. But this is also just now like what Faizul said about the theory where opposite is Quinton, the secondary school that is very famous actually among the Chinese community also. But then you have a monorail right in front of you. So this is not the whatever Kowloon of KL. This is the Chongqing of KL because you have the train going through the building, but for no particular reasons. It's not like you get better connection. You still need to walk to the train station, right? So, so in that sense, like because I know Riveria too well, I wouldn't want to buy this. I will buy. I think sub-sale Riveria still makes better sense than the new phase. But just that there's a lot of very weird things within the building. Like the drop off is super mini. Then the car park is extremely high level, and the foundations for all buildings, like Tower 2 and Tower 3, is all done. Now suddenly, if you're staying in Tower 1, they start building Tower 2. Then when Tower 2 is siap, baru you build Tower 3 again. While Tower 1 people is living there leh. And the site is extremely narrow. Extremely narrow. That's why the train needs to pass through it. So no for both.
so this is a non-HDA or HDA? It's like,
HDA.
it's HDA lah.
Yeah, let me confirm back this one. I think it's
Yeah.
a HDA.
Yeah,
Mm.
if it's a HDA, then it's even weirder
Hmm.
because there's a food court.
Betul?
Hmm.
So the
So it,
agent never sell you the food court as a selling point, right?
oh, of course. What for?
Ah,
Mm.
I mean, you know lah, it could be a selling point for some people. Okay. So for me, again, the primary contention for me is that it's being sold at a KL Central price point, very close to KL Central price point. Yeah, location-wise, it's not KL Central, right? The only reason why this one was fairly rated lah, both own stay investment, simply because we think if you are a young person looking to enter into this area, looking to own a property in this area, this is the only cheap option, affordable option available, right? If you die, have to stay in this area, right? For us, um, own stay point of view, many don't like to stay in brickfields, right? Especially Zakri, very clear, right? He does not like brickfields, right? Um, I used to work there at KL Central long time ago when I was young. And I don't like brickfields as an area. I rarely go there even for lunch, lah, right? And I wouldn't. Investment, I think, is okay given the size is quite small, proximity to monorail. But I wouldn't rate it as high as compared to our first project in OUG simply because um I don't know like you say you got a Chinese school there, right, Sean?
Opposite the Federal Highway.
Right? But
Oh,
but Brickfields isn't a Chinese area, unlike Auckland Road lah,
Yeah.
right? So for me,
So you need to tally to the community, existing community.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, right? So I don't see people queuing to go and buy this because I'm gonna send my kid nearby lah. That's how I see it, lah, right?
People will buy Seputeh one.
People buy Seputeh lah, makes sense, right? Seputeh side, right? So that one makes more sense, right? So the reason why this isn't higher from investment point of view because we are buying something in Bangsa South cheaper than this, right? Proper Bangsa South, not Bangsa South South or Bangsa South East, right? It's proper Bangsa South next to LRT, next to a mall, at a cheaper price point, right? So for us, why do I buy a pretender tier 2 at 900 ringgit per square foot when I can buy the proper tier 1 at 900 ringgit per square foot? It does not make sense at all to me, right? So, if you can buy, Desa Park City at 900 ringgit per square foot, why would you buy Sri Damansara 900 ringgit per square foot? So that would be my comparison to this, right? Which is why we don't rate it higher. Okay. Next, last project for tonight.
right.
Oi, my favorite project. 5 bintang kita bagi untuk projek ni. Gurau je guys.
All right. So next is Addison Lakinton JB. So this one is another property in JB to review lah. Kawasan, yes, nearby Lakin. So the name is Lakinton, so nearby Lakin lah. So this one located accessible to the city centre of Johor Bahru. Located betul-betul dekat Jalan Tun Abdul Razak, about 6 km one road away sahaja lah to CIQ. And this development gonna be a master plan with the Resi, gonna be one of the first phases, one of the earlier phases. And they're gonna be a commercial, they're gonna be a mall after the residential, gonna be a convention center as well. And few more lah under this master plan planning. Alright. So this our agent outside market this Addison from their marketing POV. So first thing is high rental, high demand. Because they say this is GB lah, right? So then potentially can get 7 to 7.5 ROI. So is it true? We see later the number lah, right? And strategic location, as mentioned, one road away saja to CIQ area. Also one road away to many other commercials like Paradigm Mall juga also accessible, right? To the Jalan Skudai. And today, this is quite normal in many developments in JB, which they have the shuttle bus, right? But for this one, not only to CIQ, but also to Paradigm Mall, especially for the first 2 years after VP, right? And they claim also this one is a low density development, as they said. Um, so I think they're gonna have close to 2,000 of total units one go. For us, it's not really a low density lah, right? And it's a freehold property with a prestigious living where there are already a royal golf club behind this master plan already existed. So some of the unit can facing the golf club, some of the unit facing the facility, and some of them facing the main road lah, right? Betul-betul sebelah je, right? So some context, right? This is a master plan which gonna build the residential first, as I said just now, and they're gonna have the mall later, right after the residential, and commercial like offices or even the convention center. And they call this master plan as Lakinton, right? And they also build an elevated access later in and out with three different side on the three different side. So in a way, increase the accessibilities for this master plan, lah. All right, the entire township. As of now, there's only one access to this area, which is the main road Frandela, the Jalan Tun Abdul Razak, right? So this is the based on the marketing POV. So let's see what we think on the real USP. Yes, we think it's a strategic location. Satu jalan saja ke CIQ. Plus, they will have the elevated access to this area. So nak pergi ataupun nak keluar, nak masuk ataupun nak keluar daripada development gonna be super easy to the right, to the left, to the back, right? And it's a freehold property. We think it's a good investment layout. Think JB developer understood what needed to be developed in JB already. So many people not really built the layout too big or too small because we can see a lot of new launches in JB now, mainly for investment, lah, right? Great master plan that we think with the ecosystem. They not only build the residential, they only gonna build all the commercial lah, offices, mall and apa semua. So I think we think this component is gonna be great to support internally lah, the potential demand, right? And the shuttle bus, of course. But we think at this JB tier 2 area, we think the pricing for this property macam not cheap lah, right? Potentially because of their future development, they put this price lah, but it's a little bit too high, what we think for this area on the pricing POV, right? And also, not forget to mention the density also lah, right? They market as low density, but we don't think it's a low density, but we don't really think it's a super high density development lah, right? So that's what we think. So this is on the info for Addison Lakinton. As usual, you can screenshot, but roughly the layout is from 500 plus square feet up to 790 square feet, from 1 bed 1 bath, 2 bed 2 bath, 2 bed 1 bath, and 2 bed 2 bath. So there's only 3 layout, satu bilik, 2 bilik, satu bilik air, and 2 bilik 2 bilik air lah. Alright, and the pricing about 780 up to 800 ringgit PSF, depends on the unit and layout facing. And we have 2 phases with 8 residential towers with a height of 22 story for almost every of the tower lah. And the cool part here is they separated the 2 phases, AdisonWest and Addison East, with a different access for facilities. Alright. So on the OST perspective, in terms of accessibility, clearly stated, this one located 6 km to CIQ. First link to Woodland, the accessibility considered solid lah. Jalan Tun Abdul Razak, the one that connects to the JB City Centre to the northern part of Johor Bahru, right? And Johor Woodland Causeway, 6 kilometer away to the CIQ, Skudai Highway as well, right? Quite numbers of educational institutions, private and public, including the university and colleges towards the JB City side, hospital, malls, ada KPJ and apa semua lah, quite number of all nearby, right? Public access is the one RTS lah kot, with the bus also. Shuttle bus is gonna be they're gonna be there, and also there's already a bus in front of the development and the bus stop that bring you to the JB City Center and also CIQ and also Lakin lah, right? And here we'll put the approximate mortgage on the 90% based on SPA, from SPA and for interest 4% interest rate lah, for all the layout starting from 1,007 plus roughly for one bedder, up to 2,006 plus approximately lah, right? For the biggest size, right? And on the investment perspective, there's no new median here specifically transacted. But yeah, we mentioned here the JBRTS, the one that tier S. And also we can see here old median near this area is about 530 ringgit PSF, where this Edison pricing about 780 to 800 ringgit PSF roughly. And this area can be categorized as GB tier 2 area, right? Booster for this area, I think the biggest booster gonna be the game changer lah, which is the RTS and also the ART, right? For JB. And maturity point, we consider as semi-matured as the big booster coming. MRO, for this one, we think the most suitable one is gonna be the whole unit rental and potentially room rental and also Airbnb, right? For this one. And we can see for rental here, the closest one is Epic Residence, which is just located opposite. But Epic is not the direct access from the main road, and it's a leasehold, right? But the closest is Epic, one bedder up to 1,800 today, fully furnished. Three bedder up to 2,800 today, right? And the latest project, Veranda Residence, that's under a master plan. Studio roughly up to 1,008. One bedder of roughly up to 2,003. Two bedder up until 2007, three bedder potentially roughly about 2008 lah, right? For Veranda is a newer comparable. So let me bring along the panelists. What do you guys think about this Edison GB as a deal or grill? William?
Okay, yeah, let me start. So, honestly, I quite like it because golf course view, I think it's quite rare in JB. Got like, Horizon Hill, Forest City. Yeah, I think not much option lah. And this is quite close to sea as well. I think some of them have got sea view kan. So ada tak? Ada. Ada.
Not really sure because this one is the highest is 22nd floor.
Okay, okay, okay. But I think golf course view quite okay lah. I mean, right now the launches in JB not much yang provide this view, right? And I think honestly, actually, for me, I think okay lah. Next to the main road, basically all the properties that's next to the main road is one way away from the CIQ lah, right? That just drive all the way down. So this is one of them. Honestly, I think okay for this price point right now, even though the area is not as central to those really near the CIQ lah, but those projects that's really near there, I think like Exim one, they're going to launch right next week. From what I've heard, the new CIQ one. Yeah, no Kebente, the new one, the new piece of land. That one I think going to launch at 1,200, 1,300 per square feet next week. So yeah, that's the price ready for current CIQ area. So I think overall almost this year okay. Investment at this current sentiment 800 plus per square feet macam okay lagi lah Zakri. So actually what you think Zakri? Pass to you terus macam tu because you are local JB people.
I think honestly I macam tak nak sangat, which I believe it's this
because it's not tier 1 area.
which I believe not for personal reason, I have reason, which I believe it's meant to be for investment, the layout, etc., and the development itself. At this price, I think can get better house code. A 600K for two bedder, I think can get somewhere a little bit further. Can get landed potentially. Bigger and more comfortable lah, landed. So 600K for two bedder, I think is quite expensive for final price, absolute price. And this master plan where the first few years will be super hectic for the upcoming constructions. So then after that mungkin okay lah. But I think grill for own stay lah. Because of the price lah. Investment wise, think also macam no quote at this price. Because last time we did discuss about the Centro tu kan. Also about 2,000-ish units. So This one is also close to 2,000 units. I think can consider Central macam better price or better location. I think closer to CIQ. And I think I I think we bought something lower than this, just opposite. I think half the price a few years ago. Yeah. So great for investment also, and don't think I don't think they'll get the 7.5% ROI code, because I think the price is considered high for this particular section, and the rental of this area has got few more options. Even for the newer property dekat veranda tu is not really high lah. To get the 7-8% punya ROI. Yeah. Yeah. If people want to stay on this particular part of JB, people will have other options. Epic lah, one of them. I think it's still well maintained, more livable for rental. Um, and this one, the price is double lah what we got last time dekat this area. So no for investment also lah. Kalau 700 okay kot, because okay, sorry. So another context, because I'm comparing to those the closer to CIQ, pricing about 700 each. So this one is slightly higher, but with master plan, so it's a plus minus point lah. But I think I would rather go for better price, closer location. Yeah. I think Sean.
Like what you said also, now I have this theory is it's either you are CIQ or you're not. So it's like train station like that. So it's either you are walking distance or you are not. Anything between driving 5 minutes to 35 minutes, right, has no difference. Right? So because a lot of people take the radius or the distance away, right, as the pricing strategy, which is absolutely not correct. But this will be investment thing lah, because of its mixed development. So for locals own stay, I don't think so lah. I stay there, I always go there and eat. So eventually the whole road will use the same selling point. Oh, one straight road to CIQ lah.
Yeah.
That's the main. Then everybody will have shuttle. Everybody will have all the same punchline one. But what comes to the difference will be when I come back home, do I still need to travel out to eat or not? Yeah, so that's then weekends, what do I do? So for locals, I don't think anybody will stay this street right now. For local, unless you work in Singapore, I don't think locals want to stay, even be around the area. Because this one is the road where I last time always, not always, but I was in the influence of alcohol. I drove to Singapore.
Wow.
Yeah, so kenapa kat Singapore pula? and in 4 hours time I need to fly there some more. Yeah, so that for that own stay, no investment. I think investment, practically everything now, right? Looking at the status of everything can go on JB. Because unless they are from KL and they watch this channel, right, then suddenly I still don't think that they have priced crazy yet. I think developers are still having that PTSD thing. They still not go full-fledged, because based on our past JB bull run, that is crazy. Medini, we sell 1,000 per square feet. Now I think they are. Huh?
It's not a developer,
Oh, it's not a developer.
it's the banks.
Ah,
Only reason why you don't see a 3,000 per square foot because the banks will never allow it.
your mic is not close to you, is it?
Or a bit far, is it? Yeah. Now better, right?
Yeah.
So the reason why you don't have a 2,500, 3,000 per square foot in Johor today is because the bank is not allowing it. That's it. The developer would have one thing to try, would have tried, but they have been stopped by the banks. Because the banks, PTSD, a lot of auction in the past, they worried this is going to repeat again. Lah. It's largely the banks.
You know, so that's what I felt.
Right? We are already at the earlier stage of the property bull run, right? And the reason why you don't see aggressive price point for primary market property, largely because the banks are just stopping it. I mean, developer would love to price Maluri at 1,000 per square foot, if not because of the banks. Right? So, that I think is the a current situation for Johor lah. A lot of developers are eyeing 2,000 per square foot. Banks won't allow it, so that's why you don't see it now.
Exactly. Like I if I'm a developer, I would. Why don't you just price 2,000?
They tried.
Right.
They tried. Yeah. They really tried lah. Right. We are very happy that this project at 700 to 800 ringgit per square foot is doing very well. Right. We're very happy. The reason why we're very happy is because we bought this Epic many years ago at 50% discount. So at 600 to about 750 per square foot, right? It was the original selling price of the developer many years ago. But thanks to COVID, we are able to buy at half price, right? I think some units were closer to 300 ringgit per square foot. All right, some units were 330, some units were 350. So I think our buyers in general, about 150 of them who bought this property, I think will be salivating lah, very happy lah, right? Very happy because in less than 5 years, you suddenly have a competition selling double the price. All right. So for us, knowing what to buy, it's always good to see someone launching at a higher price point lah. We're just happy lah for everyone, right? But nonetheless, we have a job to do for tonight, right? And as far as rating is concerned, right? We give it both 3 stars. It's slightly optimistic and high, actually, given the price point. But that's just the situation that JB is in today lah. The fact that it's being sold at 700 to 800 ringgit per square foot, it was very well received for Lakin. Just simply reflects that everything else is too expensive. Itu saja, right? Rental will be very different. They've got a shuttle to both CIQ dengan Paradigm, which is a big bonus. And if a lot of developers say, I want to build master plan, you look at the track record, a bit harder to argue whether they can build or they cannot build, right? For example, like the first property that we discussed, which is Amaya by TA, right? Track record of building a proper township mall master plan. I don't know whether they have it, but you cannot argue that WCT never had the track record, right? They built multiple areas from Pavilion Bukit Jalil to all the way to OUG side to Kelana Jaya, the Bukit Bintang side. So they've done it multiple times. I don't see it being any different this time around, right? So when the township is completed, then the 700 ringgit per square foot price point will look like a steal, especially RTS completion, shuttle, etc. Right? But for now it looks a little bit optimistic, but that's just the situation in Johor as of today lah. At 700 per square foot, this looks cheap because Johor is already at the midst of their property bull run and it's not stopping anytime soon, right? So you're going to see a different level of performance of rental the moment RTS is completed, right? And at that point of time, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a lot of properties in Johor will be moving at closer to 800 ringgit per square foot. Now, again, this is not a buy call, right? The reality is that a lot of properties that you buy in Johor today is overpriced. For us at FarCap, we still maintain the view of whereby anything other than tier S, we don't pay above 500 ringgit per square foot. So what is tier S? Property walkable to RTS, right? So today we are buying tier 1 area at 400 ringgit per square foot and below. We are buying tier 2 also at 400 ringgit per square foot, right? So those are, I would say, much better properties compared to this, but this is again not bad given, you know, township development, given the whole master plan, right? Shuttle to both Paradigm Mall, which they own, and CIQ lah, right? So yeah, this is Johor, guys. 700 ringgit per square foot can bagi 3 bintang already, right? But for those who bought, you know, Epic before, congratulations lah. Meletup-letup, guys. And it's much lower density, by the way, compared to this.
Zakri face already booming.
Zakri,
The Epic owner.
Zakri
Epic owner juga.
happy ya. Terbeli Epic.
Tanpa
Tengoklah.
sengaja.
Tanpa sengaja terbeli.
Tanpa sengaja dapat 9.3 ROI.
Oi, ya ni humble bragging.
Tanpa sengaja.
Humble bragging kawan. Banyak santai kawan.
Tanpa
Okay.
sengaja dah make 100,000 capital gain.
Wah.
Okay lah, okay, see you guys lah. Bye. Talk so much, no money also. Hi.
Ini contoh OKB guys. Dia buat duit je, dia cerita kat semua kan. Ini kita nak pergi makan receipt restoran RM80 guys untuk makan satu lasagna. Ni stok-stok OKB ni kan. Okay. Next.
I think we've done already.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, let's move to Q&A. Right.
Right. Okay. So the first question.
By the way, before we start Q&A, we are, for anyone who needs help, right? Who needs help, for us to look for safe properties that you can buy either for own stay or for investment, whereby you can buy property using zero capital. You can buy properties at 20% below developer's price. Cheapest property we've got is 200K, inshallah, this year, right? You can buy a property and stay for free, right? Whereby you duduk in one room, sewakan the other rooms, and you dapat duduk for free rather than buy a sewa. For those who are looking to get cash when they buy property, you can get minimum 50,000. And our next best deal will be 200,000 property walkable to a LRT station. So for those who are keen to have access to such deal, we have a very low fee service at 499. For one time, we'll find you a property that meets your goal. Full refund kalau kita gagal carikan property yang sesuai untuk you within 2 years, right? So with that, let's go to Q&A.
Asked to be dismissed.
Oh, sure.
Because
Okay, Sean.
I need to catch the flight in 4 hours.
Oh, okay. Safe flight, Sean. Where are you going to?
Singapore. Go and see HDB. I go and see
Safe
HDB.
trip.
Yeah, then only understand why I tak dapat deal macam Zakri ni. Okay, take care guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Okay. So now we go to the first question. So, can you suggest any property that I can buy that is below 400K because I am too scared to invest something higher than that?
I think as of today in FACAP, we've got about either 2 or 3 properties that can buy at 400K, below 400K price point, and this property are zero down. You can get positive cash flow, right? So I unless you're a client, whether you become a full client, you pay for the one time punya fee subscription, we can't represent you to go and find property for you. So you have to be a client first. So my suggestion, if you're not sure which client package to go for, you just pay for the 499. Like I said, full refund. If we fail to find you a property that meets your objective of 400 ringgit, 400,000, and you can do it zero down, and inshallah positive cash flow.
All right, moving on to the second question. Honest suggestion from the panelists. What would be a good recommendation for good rental cash flow that we can buy this year?
good rental cash flow can buy this year. I think our best property today from a cash flow point of view can give you about, I think, 1,000 ringgit positive cash flow. And it's a below RM500,000 property. Right? Tapi tu kena pakai modal sikit lah. Because the rebate is only 15%. Right? But that's the property that I'm buying. I think Zakri is buying, William also buying. Right? So for 400 over 1,000, you get dual key next to mall LRT. We think positive cash flow dia can conservatively about 1,000. If you do a little bit more magic, can even get to 2,000 lah. Very similar to the number of what Zakri was gloating just now lah, 9.3% rental yield.
I think potentially the area can be upgraded to tier 1
Yes.
in the future time. Now is upper tier 2 lah. Upper tier
Right.
2.
So that's the best cash flow property you can buy lah, below RM500,000. All right. If let's say about RM1,000,000 budget, then you're looking at about RM2,000 positive cash flow per month. Possible. Okay.
All right, next question. Out of DOG episodes, how can tariff impact Malaysia, and are we heading to a recession?
Very unlikely. I don't think we're gonna go through a recession. The tariff on paper looks very bad because suddenly we have to pay more. The reality is that it actually put us at a very advantageous position. I think I did one webinar last week. We cover about tariff. I said Singapore is the biggest winner of tariff. Malaysia is the second biggest winner. So both countries will significantly benefit. Like I said, as a clue, ask yourself why does President Xi Jinping is suddenly here after 13 years tak datang Malaysia last week? Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. No, not last week, this week, right? Is it a coincidence? It's not a coincidence. There's a reason for his visit. So Malaysia will be a biggest beneficiary, one of the largest beneficiary of tariffs. I think one of the most important announcement is visa free, William. Yeah, now visa free. Or William hilang dah. Dia macam hang tiba-tiba kan. But Malaysia now is visa free, right? They're proposing, right, for mainland Chinese tourists. So I expect a lot of interest towards Malaysia property and rental coming from our mainland China friends. It's very evident, very clear.
Okay, next question. Bukit Jalil oversupply area, can it be tier 1? So many launching there. Rental is also not good as too many competitions in Bukit Jalil.
Mont Kera was oversupplied before. Right? If you studied 10 years ago, Mont Kera was oversupplied. All right? It was tier 1 back then. It's even a better tier 1 today. Right? So the supply doesn't indicate whether the property is going to become tier 1 or not. So the indication of tier 1 is that when there's expatriate community looking to come and stay. Right? So I'm making a prediction, and you can mark my words, right, on this, right? The largest expat community in the next 5 years coming to Malaysia will be from China. Okay, will be from China, right? Which area will be the biggest beneficiary of the mainland Chinese coming to Malaysia? Don't know yet, right? It could be Maluri, it could be Bukit Jalil, right? Your other tier 1s like Mont Kera, Desa Park, dah banyak dah. So you got the rich mainland Chinese, which is going to go and stay. There's also the middle class version. Right? Equine pun dah mula keluar. Right? So, right? When rental above 5,000 is common, when the international community in the area becomes very strong, then it becomes a tier 1. That's it. Got nothing to do with the supply.
Yeah, now Mont Kera looks actually is oversupply. I mean, if people don't really look at the rental, Mont Kera proposition of the building, my unit now facing office, like really close. I mean, if you look at the Mont Kera one to another, like very minimal space in between. But I think why people don't see it's oversupply because of the rental is there. I mean, there's a lot of people willing to pay 8,000, 10,000 rental here.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the next question. Would like to know if you guys will ever consider reviewing projects in Setapak or Wangsa Maju or Setia Wangsa areas. A lot of new condos in these places, PV22, Masing M Series, Sunway, Skyworld. So I have not watched all the past DOGs, but from those I have watched, don't see any project from this part of town where it is actually considered very near to KL city center with LRT connection.
We review everything that is hot. So everything that is advertised, hot, widely discussed is something that we will review. The reason why, it's not because we don't like Setapak or Wangsa Maju or Setia Wangsa. It's got nothing to do with that, right? See, Zakri even review Brickfields, even though he doesn't like Brickfields,
Hmm.
right? Or Klang Road, right? So it's got nothing to do whether we like or we don't like. Question is that, is it hotly discussed ataupun tak? Itu saja, right? If it's widely discussed, we're gonna discuss, right?
Yeah.
All right. Next question is from Justin Heng. I am 23, just started working in IT with a total monthly income of 6K. So 4.5K salary plus 1.5K freelance. My expenses are 2.5K. I have 6-month emergency fund, 25K, no debts, fully paid car, and living with parents. I have invested 35K in blue chip stocks and S&P 500, plus 10K in crypto. So I'm now considering property investment. Do you think it is a good time for me to start given my current financial situation after choosing a good investment location?
Firstly, Justin, well fucking done. At 23, you are able to go and accomplish all this. So for me, it's just bloody remarkable. At 23, I don't even have a fully paid motorbike, right? So you got a fully paid car and you make far more than me at the same age, right? But as the saying goes, it's never about how you start, it's how you finish, right? So my take on that here is that the goal of a property investor is that it's not the idea to choose whether you buy crypto or you buy blue chip or you buy property. Brother, property is the only asset class with your income as of today, you zero money to go and buy, right? William, at what age you bought your first property, William?
Actually, same age as Justin, 23.
Right? And you bought it as a student, right?
Mm.
Right? As a university student, part-time real estate agent, right? So William bought his first property at 23. Today he owns 8 properties. William, how much money have you used to own all of these 8 properties?
Net wise actually, okay, how to say it? Negative, as in, I get paid rather than paying anything. Yeah,
So,
overall.
so Justin, you understand the game here? It's not about choosing. You should do all, right? Simply because property is the only asset class, and William is already on property number 8, whereby as of today, he has not paid a single cent of his own savings and cash to own these 8 properties. So William today 28 ah. Yeah, right? So why choose when you can do it all? So the key thing, again, is not just about buying a lot of property, it's about buying a lot of good properties that make sense. So that means you get, you've heard stories, right? We bought Epic at 50% discount, we bought 350 ringgit per square foot. Zakri is getting close to 10% rental yield as of today. He bought it 0 down, made above 100K again. And again, Zach, how much do you pay to own the property?
0.
Right? And you get paid some more, right? You get paid about 100K, right? Yeah. So he bought a property, did not use a single cent, get paid 100K, and today property still give him 9% return. So the power of property is that when you are able to identify good property, you can buy unlimited number of property, and again, using little to no cash. So brother, why choose when you can accomplish it all? Right? But obviously, right, pick the right property lah. That's the key thing. Pick the right property, buy the right price point, and you're going to be fine. Right? So I've done 33 properties before I was 30. William is property number 8, right? So Zach has got a few, right? So, you know, this is not uncommon. So we are looking forward lah to see you reporting progress. By 30, you get at least 5. At least lah, sama level dengan William lah.
Okay, next question from Madiha. For JB property, is it reasonable to expect price increase once RTS is operational around early 2027?
I think the general POV is that price will go up, right? But again, right, just because in general price will go up doesn't mean you make money, sis. Sebab you bought, for example, let's say you bought Epic last time, right? At 800 ringgit or 700 ringgit per square foot, right? So even RTS is completed, I don't think you'll make money. Because now you got new properties you can buy at 700 ringgit per square foot. So your entry price will determine whether you make money or you lose money, right? For example, in Johor, right? In Johor, I can say with certainty, right? In the last 10 years, 99% of the people who buy new property all lose money. With exceptions of clients of our capital and maybe some people who actually bought from auction because they've got their capital. But everything that we bought in Johor in the last 4 or 5 years has made money because buying 40% lah, 50 lah, 60, 70% discount. So sis, if your entry price is correct, you're going to make shitloads amount of money in Johor. If your entry price is not correct, you go from losing money 100 to 200,000, now you can break even. Also, okay lah, good lah, right? Right? So, and if your entry price is still wrong, right? For example, like Dangabe bought at 1,100 ringgit per square foot, I don't think you'll make money even post RTS. Because today, property walkable to RTS is still about 1,000 ringgit per square foot as upsale. So Dangabe not walkable. Lama sikit lah. So for the Dangabe at 1,000 per square foot to make money, if you bought 1,000 per square foot, you have to wait for the RTS property to be 2,000 per square foot. And then you make money. But which also means everyone else will make money. Right? Imagine my client bought 350 Epic. RTS 2,000 ringgit per square foot. Right? Kita jual 900 ringgit per square foot lah. 900 ringgit per square foot. Why? Less than half of the property in RTS. We are just 6 km away, 10 minutes. Kan? Less than half. Right? Now, people who bought, let's say for example RNF at 1,003 today, make 700 ringgit per square foot. Kita beli kat Larkin pun buat 700 ringgit per square foot juga. And we took much lower risk. Right? So it's all about your entry price. You enter the right price point, you're going to win big in Johor. Right? Today, our property that we buy all below 500 ringgit per square foot kat Johor. Right? Sewa confirm 7-8%. Pecah mata. Right? We're not talking to an operator now. Most likely, we're going to have a double digit punya rental yield. Right? So, again, entry price will determine whether people make money or not. Overpay, you kena tunggu sekejap.
Okay, next question is from Kishan. Is Southville City a good place for investment or stay? Your review, please.
Most people who bought Southville don't make money. Right? So again, it all boils back to what is your entry price. If you pay 500,000, you don't make money. Terrible property. If you pay 300,000, you're going to be quite okay. If you bought cheaper than 250, you're going to do quite great lah. So same property, just different price point. Right? So property watches, same. Right? I think this watch at the peak, I think people are buying maybe 120,000. Right? 120,000 before. Right? During the crypto high, 2021, 2022, people are willing to pay 120,000 for this AP. Right? I got it for 70 plus thousand. So I bought it at a price point which is similar to pre-COVID. Right? So in the era of cheap interest rate, I think it's going to go up balik pergi 100,000. So again, it's all about entry price. It's the same damn thing. You pay right price, you buat duit. You pay wrong price, same location, you're going to rugi duit. Look at every single property that we buy, right? Epic orang beli at 500, 600 ringgit per square foot, kita beli 300, 300 setengah. We make money. And the people who bought at 500 lose money until today. Look at Medini. People are paying 700 ringgit per square foot. We pay 350. These guys are losing money until today. Our clients are making money day one. Again, exactly same property. Unit sebelah-sebelah ni. Right? So your entry price will determine whether you make money, whether it's going to be a good investment or it's going to be a bad investment. Right? Because today, we discuss 5 property. At the current price point that the agents are selling, that's the verdict lah. Tapi ada tak orang yang beli 100 ringgit per square foot cheaper? Ada. Like us. Right? So our rating becomes higher because we don't enter at 800, we enter at 700. Right? We enter the price point cheapest in the last 10 years. So we're going to do quite okay lah. Other people cannot say the same. Okay?
Okay, next question is from Joey. Question about Gen Starz. So the first one is it in far capital inventory? So second, is far capital client entitled to say 20%? And third, price tag per FR, like MRT not adjustable for less than 700 per square foot, and rental oversupply may not break even.
First, Jenstar is not a far cap inventory. We're buying something nearby at 550 per square foot. Right? Our clients are entitled to 35% discount on that property. Not even 20, it's 35% discount. Right? And we are walkable to a LRT station. So we are buying something nearby. We are buying cheaper, a lot lower density, much greater quality and grade. Luxury property lah. Far more luxurious than Genstars, but we are buying it cheaper. Right? So it's not a packet inventory. Not yet lah, at least. We're buying something better in the area.
Yang tu saya suka duduk.
Huh?
Okay.
Oh, yang tu yang nak duduk, eh?
Yang tu nak duduk. Yang tu okay.
I agree lah yang tu.
Personal reason juga.
Yeah, rooftop pool, KLCC view, very low density. Lobby ada Ferrari. Right? So, yeah. Literally, we went there, have a visit, lobby, Ferrari park.
Really, yeah.
2 million ringgit car. I don't think you'll see in Genstars. And we are buying it cheaper. So that's a funny thing, right? We are buying much better property and we're just buying it cheaper. Right? So again, all of the property we discussed tonight is not far capital price point, it's public price point. So it's okay, it's not bad. So when we say we give 3 star, bukan sebab, we don't like the property. Look, we are just buying something better, cheaper. If we give that 4 star, we cannot give this one 4 star. It doesn't make sense. Okay? Joey?
Right? Okay. I have one last question yang I nampak dekat. Alright. This question is from Muhammad Izzat. So hi guys, I'm a 29 years old government servant with around only 3.5k salary. So I just bought a studio unit at Kota Warisan last year. Currently renting it out for 1,003 while installment is 1,266. Not really good deal, but to be positive, I think it's still a good start. So what is your suggestion for me to move forward? I'm looking for a property that can increase my monthly income. So where should I start from now?
So your target is to buy a cash flow property, right? So you're talking about monthly income. So your goal is cash flow lah, right? So long story short, your profile is very similar to Zakri's profile a couple of years ago. Bought similar price property, except that you buy in Kota Warisan, he bought in JB lah, right? Both also, I think 1 bedroom unit ke studio unit?
1 bedroom.
1 bedroom, right? What's your rental today, Zach?
1,008.
So you see, same price point, below 230,000 and apa semua tu, you are getting a rental of 1,003, which is okay lah. It's not bad lah. You're not gonna die, right? But he's getting 1,008, right? So the key here is that just buy better property lah, right? Just buy better property. So when we give certain property certain rating and apa semua tu, there's a reason, right? So typically, if the property can get positive cash flow, kita akan bagi 3 bintang onwards. So that's how we do deal green. Whether we like the property, we like the developer, we don't, the moment property can get positive cash flow, 3 bintang onwards for investment. Right? When it doesn't, tengoklah how severe is the negative cash flow. Right? So again, you can continue to learn, you can continue to attend deal or grill because we give you a lot of hints and apa semua tu, right? Rating wise, kan? In terms of investment and apa semua tu. But like I said, if you really want a shortcut, you know, get the 499 year service, and then, you know, we're gonna do our best to help you find better property lah. Because based on your salary, you can buy a 300,000 to 400,000 property, right? And I think lah, the best property coming is gonna be, can you imagine, you beli kat Kota Warisan, is that roughly about 250k for a studio unit. We're gonna buy next to LRT station, jalan kaki pergi LRT station, ada rooftop pool, bawah pada 240,000, right? And it's 30 minutes tak sampai to Petronas Twin Towers. Projected rental kita lah, konservatif 1,600, 1,700. So confirm positive cash flow. Itu konservatif. We think can be as high as 2,000 lah. Long term. Kalau you nak main short term, you kira lah rental per day tu, which I think is going to be 130 to 150 ringgit per day easily, because you got a rooftop pool. So the key is that just buy better property lah. That, right? If you want the shortcut, be a client. Yeah. Oh, good question coming.
Oh, yeah. Okay, all right. So this question has come from Kate. So, hi Faizul, at what price point per square feet will make a Riveria a good or better deal? What price would you buy it? As you said, the price determines it. So, your opinion, please.
I think on certain layout, we'll be happy to do a deal at 700 ringgit per square foot. On not ideal layout, we'll probably do a deal at 600 ringgit per square foot. Right? So because it's tier 2, it's not tier 1, and we are buying tier 1 proper at below 900 ringgit per square foot. So it makes no sense whatsoever to pay anything above 750 per square foot for brick fields. Right? So we just buy a property 1 or 2 stations away, proper tier 1, ada LRT, ada mall, and that price is even cheaper than this. 330,000 saja. Right? So for us, that will be the price point lah. So kalau tier 2, we are not going to pay above 700 ringgit per square foot. It's very rare kita akan bayar 700 ringgit per square foot and above. Very, very, very rare for tier 2. Right? Which Brickfields is lah. Right? Which is why as of today, we have never bought anything in Brickfields, but supply is limited and everyone just tagging it to KL Central, which we think is ridiculous. Tapi, well, it is what it is lah. Right? So for Riveria, some layout will pay 700, some layout will pay just 600 ringgit per square foot. So it really depends on the layout, really depends on the unit. And by the way, guys, we are buying dekat area Mongkera for 600 ringgit per square foot juga. Freehold pula tu. And there's no almost 3,000 units lah. Right? 3 blocks baru 1,200 units. So freehold, much better facility, akan ada MRT, tier 1 area. Rental is gonna be quite good because it's tier 1 area. At a much cheaper price point. So again, you know, it's just very hard to justify this. Right? Our next best property, you know, in a tier 2 area, ada rooftop pool, tapi ada mall, ada MRT, we're paying 750 per square foot. So it makes no sense whatsoever to pay Brickfields, no mall, no MRT nearby, and 900 ringgit per square foot. Okay? Guys, if you want to buy good properties macam tu, like I said, it's only 499, full refund if you fail to find you better property than the one that you are eyeing. Okay? I hope I answer everyone's question tonight.
Yeah, so no more question. So,
Okay.
last word before we finish.
First and foremost, thank you guys for staying all the way until 1 o'clock. We started at 10, we finished at 1, so almost 3 hours. I hope it was worth your time. I hope you learned something new. So again, property can be quite scary when you buy the wrong one, can be quite enjoyable when you buy the right ones, right? So the key thing here is that you have the power to make it enjoyable. You have the power to make it a miserable experience, right? Because if you think property is risky, you're going to be right. If you think property is fun because you can make a couple of million, you're also going to be right. So pick, right, which door you want to open, right? So with that, I wish you a wonderful and productive week ahead. Assalamualaikum. Good evening semua, and thank you so much guys for spending the time dengan kita malam ni. Thank you everyone.
All right. Good night, everyone. Have a great day.